welcome to the podcast, Dan. So today we got Dan Breeden on. He is with Snowensville over in Owensville, Missouri. And I really wanted to bring you on, Dan. You were somebody that, for a while now, since I've opened a business, but even before I opened a business, something that I was really big on is that I feel like if you're trying to grow a business, you have to be very prevalent in social media. And you were one that was always active on social media and just like really active in the community. And so that was a big reason for me wanting to bring you on.
Okay.
But before we get into anything like that, I would like to just talk about your business.
Okay.
And because there's gonna be some people that listen to this that don't even know what Snowensville is. Maybe it's not from the Owensville community, or I don't know how they wouldn't know about Snowensville if they were in Owensville.
You would be surprised.
Exactly, because some people don't have Facebook.
Right.
Because I get people coming to the gym, and the only reason they know I'm there is because of my sign out front.
Yeah. My newspaper marketing lacks heavy, and there's a whole market I know I'm missing because of that. But you have to be in a financial place, whereas social media is free to post. Paper involves money, and I know it takes money to make money.
Yep.
But when it's limited, you got to be very strategic on where you use it.
Yes.
So you don't just throw it in the wall. You got to make sure. So yeah, there's still a customer base in Owensville.
So you're not in the newspaper?
We are not in the newspaper.
I'm not in the newspaper either.
No.
Dennis does come in.
Yeah.
And sometimes I will put an ad in every now and then. But I'm in the exact same boat. We're both pretty new businesses. So Snowensville, we're going to go off in that tangent, I know, but let's talk about Snowensville and where Snowensville came from. Well, let's talk about what Snowensville is.
Yeah.
And then I would like to talk about like where you came from, because I've watched you
from the beginning.
Well, for a while now, but I know there's probably a lot that I don't know too.
Yeah. We're currently a diner. We started as a shaved ice stand. So as a diner, we do burgers, chicken, catfish. We just wanted blue-collar food for blue-collar people, and our clientele is mostly families, single workers, and just pretty much the general population of Owensville. So we've had fancy people, we've had regular people, and we're just a good old-fashioned, I don't want to say greasy spoon, because we don't really have the greasy spoon feel. We're not into like the pies and the soups and the stuff like that. We just keep it simple. We know what we are. And that's kind of what we are. And
you guys, one big thing for you guys is that you guys have popcorn.
Yes.
Your flavored popcorn.
Yes.
With all kinds of crazy flavors. And you're making new ones all the time too, aren't you?
And that's let me see how do I phrase this? I enjoy machines. So I enjoy unique items. The popcorn itself, sure, we do popcorn. We do candy popcorn. We do the cheese caramel popcorns. We actually purchased Popcorn Buddha out of Lynn, Missouri. Ironically, I saw popcorn first, got introduced to Popcorn Buddha from a podcast where he was sitting on a couch.
Wow.
And he was talking about all this popcorn he made and his enthusiasm of popcorn. And then when he said he was moving from Pennsylvania, the state, to Lynn, Missouri, I was excited. I was over the road truck driving at the time, and I was like, when I get back home, and I actually became friends with him. And they were in the process of moving, and I ended up buying their business just to keep it alive from there. I have a habit. Our phrase is Snowensville and Owensville tradition. And an Owensville tradition isn't because we've only been around for 11 years, but we have purchased businesses that have been around for decades. So the shaved ice stand itself was around for decades. Popcorn Buddha may not be in Lynn for decades, but it's been around for as long as I've been alive. They've been making popcorn. So we've been acquiring businesses that started strong, have heart and passion, that just needed that extra revival.
Which is a great idea too.
And that's
such a great idea.
You got to see the potential in it, see where they started falling off, and then say, can I contribute to bring that back into the situation? So
can I rekindle the fire that got put out for whatever reason?
And I'm not saying that the fire in your situation is the same way, but it kind of is the same way of you saw a business, you saw opportunity, whether it was the 24 hours, whether it was the competitions, whether it was upgrading the equipment. And once again, that business has been around for a long time in Owensville, but you saw a way that you can take that passion that they started with and amplify it to the point of what it is. So in a way, we're in the same boat, just in different things.
Yeah,
Got off on a tangent, but
no,
the
no,
machines.
I think that's
the machines is what I enjoy. So our lemon smasher machine, our popcorn machines, our tumblers. We bought the popcorn business, had the old fashioned climb up on a ladder, stir it with a stick, and make your caramel popcorn. Where now it's all automated. So now you can see that the popcorn will be on a timer, and when the timer goes off, popcorn will dump into the caramelizer. It'll then mix itself. When the timer goes off, caramelizer drops to a treadmill, which will then start throwing the popcorn so it doesn't stick, and just seeing all that stuff. So popcorn itself, not really in our thing, but it had the cool toys, it had the history, it had the right time and the right place. So it was never our, if we were just popcorn, we'd be out of business tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it's a great addition to what we do.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's great. And you do the lemonades too. And so, and those are very unique and people love them.
yes.
And you not only do you have Snowensville that, you're running every single day, but you also like cater to events, right? With
yes.
the popcorn and the lemonade.
Yes. Yeah, that's really cool. If you're on our Facebook page, Snowensville, you'll see that we do personalized labels. Once again, because I like the machines, we bought a label personalizer. So we're able to personalize. I could take your picture right now, put your whole business on it, put it on popcorn, or you can hand it out to your businesses or to your customers now.
That's a great
as a
idea.
thank you. So being able to personalize the popcorn, the lemonade, stuff like that, it's been able to contribute to businesses, big and small, birthdays, anniversaries, stuff like that. And once again, it was just another toy I saw.
Yeah,
and I liked it.
birthday parties would be huge. And I think every business, like once a year, should have a customer appreciation.
Yeah.
And something like, you don't even have to have like a party where you're buying people drinks and paying for all this stuff. You could literally just have a normal business day and you could buy this popcorn, have it customized with your name and say, thank you so much for your business. And it's not just a cheap bag of popcorn.
Right.
These are flavored
gourmet
popcorns,
popcorn,
and
yeah.
they look so enticing. They look like just.
And once again, to go back to the fact we reiterated earlier, I didn't buy, when I bought a popcorn business, the machinery, old. We bought all new machinery. What we bought was the knowledge. We bought over 25 years worth of knowledge. So that to me is what was priceless. So you're not just, when you get this popcorn, you're like, oh, this is a 15-year-old making the popcorn. It's not the 15-year-old. It's the fact that we have learned beyond our years overnight. If you could learn everything you can learn about a business overnight, what's the cost of that knowledge?
Yeah.
And that's what we did. So yeah, we're in the popcorn, which I'm going to plug that real quick. If you're a small business, if you want to put your phone number, a thank you, something simple but personal, feel free to get a hold of us. And we can do as little as 10 bags, 20 bags. The popcorn's air sealed tight, so it's good for up to 6 months as long as you keep it out of the direct sunlight and moisture.
Oh, it's good for 6 months.
6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
And when I was talking to the original Popcorn Buddha, he said they found, and Google it, don't hold me to it. He says they found popcorn kernels, or the seeds, in tombs that were still able to be popped because of the moisture that was encased inside of it. So
Wow.
way back in the day. So
That's kind of cool.
yeah, it's kind of neat.
Like just an interesting fact.
Yeah, for sure.
That is. I would like to know. I don't want to dive into it yet, but maybe if we remember and we can come back to it.
Yeah.
Like how you, how you found that podcast. Well, let's just talk about it now.
Random.
We'll go back.
Yeah, it was
So you
just
just found the
random.
podcast randomly.
A random podcast, yeah.
And-
it was this tree hugging he went off of Buddha, Popcorn Buddha. So he's like a hippie looking guy, super relaxed, super nice, super cool guy. And he was sitting on a couch doing a podcast, and he had all of his flavors of popcorn. One of these
By
times-
himself.
Yeah, by himself. One of these times if we have a follow-up, I'll bring all the popcorns kind of like he did, and we'll do samples of he had weird ones.
That would be cool. I'd love to do
And
that.
his passion, once again, how do I say this the right way? Having a passion in something, you can buy knowledge, but you can't buy passion.
Yep.
So I have the knowledge of the popcorn, but if you put me and this gentleman and his wife together, he'll school me all day long. Because although I enjoy popcorn, his passion is popcorn. So he was putting popcorn in meatloaf, in salads, in burgers. He had honey Dijon. So there's
I think
a lot
he'd be
of
good in
popcorn.
salad.
Yeah,
I don't know
see?
about meatloaf,
Oh,
though.
he was doing some weird stuff. But I was grateful to be able to find someone with that type of passion to train us, because although we probably won't go that extreme, we still have someone. And if you can surround yourself with people who have that kind of passion, I think it's really good. Because, yeah.
So when you listen to this podcast, this dude's like, I'm moving to Lynn, Missouri.
Yep.
And did you decide, like, I'm going to DM him, or did you find a way to get his
No, I
number?
walked in and said, you don't know me.
Oh, so you waited until you moved to Lynn.
Yeah, and I walked into his business and said, I know you. You don't know me. I followed you for all these times. Because as soon as I saw that podcast, I followed him on Facebook. I followed his social media. And so I stayed on top of it. And I introduced myself. And, yeah, it was really cool. He moved to Lynn, Missouri because his farmer was growing the specific popcorn seeds in Lynn. So instead of shipping them from Lynn, Missouri to Pennsylvania, he moved his second operation here to Lynn.
Wow.
It's kind of cool.
So is he still in Lynn?
No, I think they moved back to Pennsylvania. So
Interesting.
yeah, kind of unique.
Yeah, that dude definitely seems like he's passionate about it, but it almost seems like fate.
Yeah, it is.
It fate and an opportunity.
Yeah,
You know, because I mean, the off chance that you find a random podcast and then the dude just happens to be moving to Lynn is
Missouri.
insane.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
the chances of that ever happening are slim to none.
Yeah, and then it ended up someone came in one day and they knew because we were selling them before I even bought the business. Back when I was a little shaved ice stand, we would buy their popcorn. They called it cornfetti, which is our unicorn popcorn. It's different flavors, and we would put it in our ice cream. So I was purchasing from them way before, and someone came in. They knew that I was big on Popcorn Buddha. They said, "Hey, did you know they're selling their equipment?" And I was like, "What?" So I left that day. I just drove up there, and yeah, and that's what we ended up doing. And once again,
Sweet.
not to go off on too much of a side note, but I want to say 80% of my business transactions, I don't have money. So it was talking. And I went in and said, I have X amount down. I can pay you X amount a month for X amount of time. And they said, let's do it.
Yeah.
And they trained me. So it was really cool.
No, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed that the thing was covering up the recording
thing.
and I was like, I want to make sure this is recording before we
not,
get
we'll
into
do it
it
again.
Yeah, sure.
I'll change the whole story. It'll be different next time.
Yeah, we'll meet a guy from Florida.
Yeah,
or
that's
something.
right. Exactly. You got it.
No, so that's an amazing story.
Yeah.
And that's why I love these podcasts, because I get to hear stories like that I would never have known.
Yeah.
And also, someone else might hear it and just know that, like, you never know where you might find an opportunity.
Yeah. Oh,
and,
for sure.
And I think it seems like almost everybody that I've had on the podcast now, when we're talking about, like, through these processes, it's always people that are looking for opportunity. Like, they're just doing their lives and trying to keep pushing forward and just have their eyes open for opportunity. And then when something like that happens, they go for it. And it's just like that random thing that happens that ends up taking off for them.
Yeah. And I don't want it to be confused with luck, because it's not. So the old saying, luck favors the prepared, doesn't hit home until you lived it. So if you probably won't, because you're probably in that position. But if you're in a position, to the listeners right now, if I came up to you and said, if you give me $5,000 right now in the next 5 minutes, I'll give you 20. How many of you would have $5,000 to give me? Mm-hmm. So now the person who does give the 5,000, you're like, oh, they're so lucky. Oh, they're so lucky. Luck favors the prepared. Mm-hmm. And, at the end of the day, you have to be prepared for what it is. So in that situation, I could have never walked into Popcorn Buddha. The land, another side story about my shaved ice stand, is we had to move the trailer, and I didn't have, once again, still poor, didn't have any money. And don't get me wrong, I'm not rich now, but I didn't have any money. So I went to buy the land behind the post office, a dump. It was horrible. It was 6 lots, and could not afford it. Bank wouldn't touch it. Banks are like, no, not touching it. So I ended up having to go to Herman to look up the owners of that land, go to his porch, sit on his front porch for 2 hours, and the owner financed it to me.
Wow.
So without that, there's so many stories, and they're right here in Owensville. So good people.
Yeah.
So
and they're all over the world. But you gotta have your eye open for opportunity, and you gotta go for it.
You gotta chase it.
Yeah.
So you can say, why isn't it coming to me? Why isn't it coming to me? No, sometimes you gotta go to it and find it. And if you're passionate about something, let me rephrase that. I think being passionate about something separates the people who are going to quit and the people who aren't. So if you just are looking for anything, then the odds are it's not for you. It's not for you. You have to put in the effort, put in the work, because then when times get tough, because times will get tough,
it's inevitable.
you're not going to quit if you put in the work. Fell on
If
your
you're
lap.
doing it just for a paycheck, when times get hard,
You're out.
You're out.
Oh, yeah, there's a factory up the street that's going to pay more than what we're going to make here in that situation. There's always someone that pays better. You never do it for the money. And, this wasn't for the money for sure.
Yeah. When Kurt came on in my last podcast, he talked about how he got given 3 acres. Okay. His grandpa gave him 3 acres. And I wanted to stop and just take a second to be able to acknowledge the fact that he took the 3 acres and he's like, okay, now I have a little bit of equity. And he's like, I took a loan out on the 3 acres and invested it into this business. Yes. He ended up losing it all anyway. But, the difference between, like, he saw opportunity there, whereas somebody else, they might have maybe sold the property, took the money, and went and blown it on something else.
Right.
Or maybe they would have put a house on it. And like, sure, those are fine ideas, but those are all liabilities. Those are all things that are going to cost you money, or they're not going to help benefit you in the further direction of your life. He looked at it as an opportunity to be like, hey, I can pull a little bit of money from this and be able to reinvest it into something and make it an opportunity. So that's the big difference in a lot of situations is there's a lot of opportunity out there. People just aren't paying attention for it, and people aren't just they're always wanting to take the easy route, or they're just really just not paying attention. They're like, oh, they're all getting lucky. It's like, that's not luck.
Well, my goal is, because I watch a lot of these, not a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of just inspirationals and stuff like that. And my goal, if the viewers get anything out of this, is, and once again, I'm not downplaying anybody else. I'm speaking for myself. You always see someone that says, oh, I got started with this. My parents owned this. I was gifted this. This was left for me. My parents had great credit. I came from a trailer park. Nothing was gifted to me but conversation and opportunity from people who I had to sit down and talk with, and rejection and approval and everything else. So I want to make sure that the people listening to this at home, you don't have to be left 3 acres, $3. You don't have to be left anything. Mm-hmm. You just have to find your circle, find the people. There are people right now, I mean, I'm going to name names, it doesn't matter. Like people, mentors like Danielle Farrar, who she runs St. James Oil up in St. James. She's been a mentor of mine forever. A lot of strong people. And she was the motivation. I worked for her for a couple of years. Even prior to me working for her, though, she was the one that kept me on track of chase your dreams. Chase your dreams. Everyone else is like, I won't help you. Yeah, you got it. See? Chase your dreams. You got it. And when everyone else said no, you don't have any credit. You don't have any parents to co-sign for you. You don't have anything like that, no money in the bank. She gave me an opportunity, and she didn't give me money. She just gave me the right person to get the right loan that I paid back immediately within a couple of years. So your opportunity, don't sit at home and say, oh, well, this person was gifted this person was gifted this.
That is, I've been told that, and it pisses me off so much because, I didn't, we don't have the exact same background, but I definitely was never given anything. Nobody's just like, here, Ryan, here's an X amount of money, or here's something to kickstart your life.
Here's collateral.
My parents co-signed on things for me, but I had to pay for it.
Exactly.
Like the day I turned 18,
that was your gift.
I got that was my gift.
It's huge. Yeah.
And this, just the support, like my parents were just like, if it makes you happy, do it. And that was huge for me too.
Huge, yes.
But when someone's just like, well, you had different opportunity in your life, I'm like, no. Like, because when I was 16 years old, I bought my first car that I had cut grass from like at least 5th grade.
You
cutting
earned it.
grass.
Yeah.
And I saved up all this money, and I went and bought this first car, and then I drove it, and I tore the crap out of it.
Yeah.
I paid $3,000 for it, tore the crap out of it, and I sold it for $900. But it was in less than a year of being 16, I realized I could take this car, sell it. I could buy one. I knew no mechanic. I didn't even know how to change my own oil at 16.
Right, yeah.
And I that's when I sold my car, and I started taking my money, and I'd buy a car that needs work, and I started learning how to work on cars, and I started flipping cars.
Yeah.
And I learned through that I was always working. I worked a job, and I was flipping cars on the side.
Yeah.
And I always made sure never lose money. And that was like part of it. And people want to ignore those kind of things and just be like, "Oh, you had different opportunity in life."
No.
And it's just like, why are you trying to take that away from me?
Right. Exactly. But don't get me wrong, we we were blessed with a support system, and I think that is a huge thing to acknowledge too. I think a lot of times people who have the support system take it for granted. And I'm not talking about financial support. The benefit of being raised lower class is there was no safety net. So we learned real quick that if you tore up your car, you fixed your car, or else you didn't have a car. My parents, the speech was, we will support you in anything you do, but we cannot pay for it. You want 10 cars? As long as you pay for the insurance of 10 cars, do it. If you want something, we will support you 100%, but do it. And that support, I believe, is also rare, and I think we take it for granted. I think nowadays a lot of parents are, you have to go to college. You have to do this. You shouldn't take those risks. That's stupid because they didn't want to take those risks. They what's the right word? Impart on their kids that they're kids. So their kids are also scared of going out on the edge. The best part of having nothing is you have nothing to lose.
Yes.
And that was huge.
And coming from nothing, that's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, I came from nothing.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm not scared to go all in because I'll lose it all and I'll do it again. But this time around, I got the knowledge.
Exactly.
And that's what like keeps me just fearless.
Same thing. I mean, I don't know how local this is going to be, but Miss Whitty, the 8th grade teachers, all my kids from class of 05, they'll tell you in 6th grade, I was selling beef jerky in 6th grade.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was, so I was the only kid in school. Anyone who's out there can comment, they can mark on this. I'll walk around in 6th through 8th grade with a fanny pack. And that was my dealing, like a little beef jerky drug dealer in school. And we would sell it to the teachers, to the principals, to everything. We were selling beef jerky all the way up to the point of high school where FFA stood in and said, hey, that's our market. Get out. But I mean, we sold Pokemon cards while they were popular. We sold beef jerky, not like, oh, hey, I sold one Pokemon card. No, it was a lucrative business to where that's where. So finding your passion is a huge one also, is because my passion is sales. My passion is not, don't get me wrong, I'm a fat guy. I like chicken.
Yeah.
I like burgers. I sell what I enjoy, but my passion isn't cooking. Rob's a cook. Rob, my manager, he's been cooking in Owensville forever. His passion is cooking. So that worked out well. My passion is business, finding a need and filling it. And everyone has a passion, whether yours be fitness, whether it be business, whether it be whatever it is.
Yeah.
And my passion
whether
is
you like playing the guitar, whatever
it is.
Yeah. Whatever you like. Cars.
Yep. You don't have to make money at it.
Yeah.
If you enjoy what
Art,
you do,
whatever.
you're good. And that's the catch is.
And usually you can almost find something to make money in almost any atmosphere.
If you're passionate about it, you can. And if you're not, like I said, is our popcorn good? Sure. But if you put me next to Popcorn Buddha, I'm going out of business because, actually a local lawyer told me one time, and I think it hit hard at the time. It wouldn't have hit hard any other time, but it hit hard then. And he said, stay in your lane. So he said, could I do accounting? Sure. Is my passion accounting? No. So I hire an accountant because her passion is accounting. So I hired Chastity right off the bat because I knew that if your passion is there, your passion, whether you like working out, mine's cooking chicken. If I had to go work at your job for a day and you had to come work at mine, could we do it? Sure, we're pretty competent people. Would we do it as good as the other person? Probably not.
Yeah.
So staying in your lane and surrounding yourself with a group of people who have a passion of their own, not just the same passion as you, keeps you diverse. And I think that's very important that, you surround yourself with people who are into like I said, Rob's passion is cooking.
Yeah.
Rob can get in that kitchen and he tears it up. So when we came together, my passion was business, his passion was cooking. It was time to start a restaurant, and that's what we did.
So can we take it back?
Yeah.
Can we take it way back to where, because I remember, this is what I remember. I remember your stand, obviously.
The shaved ice stand, yes.
The shaved ice stand.
Original, the start.
And but I grew up in Gerald.
Okay.
So, and I never went to Owensville at all. I didn't really start hanging out in Owensville until basically, I once I started going to Owensville middle school, then I started getting closer to those kids, and then I started in high school, started hanging out in Owensville a lot more.
Right.
But I do remember there was the one across from McDonald's.
Yeah.
Was that you?
Yeah.
That was you?
Yeah, that was me.
Did you start that one, or
No.
did you buy someone out from that?
That was Rose Adams had that in Owensville for 20 years. And then I bought it out in 2011. So once again, the same theory is I went to it as a kid also. So I went to the shaved ice stand and we'd get a pina colada delight all the time. We'd ride our bikes up there. It was a tradition. It was something for the local kids to do. And I was over the road at the time saving up money, and I had money in a shoebox. I sent $1,000 here, $1,000 there to my sister. And my sister called me one day and said, "Hey, they're selling the shaved ice stand." And I said, "Why?" She said she's just getting too old. She's done it for 20 plus years. She's done with it. And I was like, "Oh, well, someone's going to get it." And then they said that she was going to sell it. Rumors started going around she was selling it to someone in Jeff City. And that's when I was like, no, that can't. That was our stand. So I called her up. I said, "Hey, how much is in the shoebox?" She said, $17,500. I said, "Walk that shoebox up to her and see if she'll sell it to you right now." So she walked.
Is that how you bought it?
She walked a shoebox. I was in a different state. I was in Wyoming.
Doing what? What were you doing in Wyoming?
I was hauling RVs.
Oh, because you were driving, you were trucking.
Yep.
That's what you were doing for a little bit at the
yeah.
time.
So I called her, said, "Take that whole shoebox up there and offer a shoebox with $17,500 cash in it." She called me up and she said, "You own a shaved ice stand now."
Cool.
No clue. I don't know how to make shaved ice. I didn't know. I didn't walk through it. That thing could have been a termite infested, whatever. But yeah, that's how it worked. And
so did she show you how to do everything?
Yeah, and once again, same thing. The same. You're going to see this pattern a lot in a lot of our conversations, and you've lived it. Whether or not we've acknowledged it, you've lived it. Of she came in strong. She had a passion. The passion. If you don't evolve with your own passion, then there's when you become, what's the right word, stagnant in your own setup. Then the times start to overlap you. So for what she did, for what she knew, she was passionate about what she did. But there was so much more opportunity. So the same thing, we came in.
Because it was a pretty small stand.
Yeah. And I kept that stand for years. Because that was my catch. That was my, the lady who sold to me wasn't big on the internet. Internet wasn't big back then. And I was traveling. So I still traveled. And then I came back during the summer. So I would go to South Carolina to be taught by 1-800 Shaved Ice. I would go down to Louisiana to get New Orleans Shaved Ice and learn about the snowballs and learn about the... And I was getting paid
in
while
off
doing
seasons?
it. Yes. I was traveling. Yeah.
So you bought the stand and you were running it in the summer, and then you go back to trucking in the winter.
Yeah.
Like when you couldn't have it open.
Yeah.
And then you did it out of the stand.
Yep.
And so that's like in the wintertime, that's when you were going to all these places.
Every day, knowledge. Yeah. Anywhere I can learn the tricks, the techniques. And then, because they would make 5 gallons at a time. And I would learn how to make the simple syrup by itself and then mix small portions. So I can make you shaved ice syrup the size of a shot glass, whereas they had to make it in huge quantities. So the reason why they only had 20 flavors and we were able to go to 100, because we were no longer storing in bulk, we found ways to get it down.
Yeah, store it with lots more.
If you created a machine in your business that different style creatines could be mixed with the proper water right there, where they'd walk up, put their money in, press a button, and get it like that, you'd probably make a lot of money, because they're not over there doing the shake thing, doing the whatever thing. But it's finding a need, finding a void, finding a way in small portions. So now instead of selling giant things, you can get it like a regular soda fountain situation, or the coffee cup. They drop the cup, and out comes. So
I thought about that too.
It's kind of
like
neat.
that, and that was I was thinking about that long before I even bought a gym.
Yeah,
I was like, because I remember going to gyms and having to carry my tub of protein in, and my pre-workout and all this stuff in.
Yep.
And if you leave it in your car, the sun dries it up and it's all clumpy in that side, and it kind of sucks if they don't have lockers at the gym. You can't leave it there.
Right.
And I'm like, wouldn't it be so cool just to be able to have your shaker cup? You pay 50 cents or $1 and drops right in, shake it up, and walk out.
That's the same theory as what she did. So she thought that you can only do a gallon at a time. So 40 gallons at 8 pounds a gallon? That starts to add up in that little trailer. That shelf was starting to get, so we were able to make changes through knowledge, through research, and we built the passion. Did I have a passion for shaved ice prior to buying that? No, my passion was business, finding a void and filling it in the town I lived in. So that's what we did. We did the best we could. We ripped it out. We started fresh. And then, and once again, she believed it. She believed it when she sold it to me.
You're saying when you ripped it out and started fresh. You're talking the inventory?
I'm talking about the building. We took that trailer down to the walls. We ripped out the counters. We had to, it's like a tiny home for a business. We had to create space. We had to go online and find the world's smallest NSF approved sink. It came out of an espresso cart in New York.
NSF approved.
NSF is National Foods. NFS, sorry. NFS, National Food Safety.
Okay.
So when the health inspector walks in, they're going to say, is it NFS? So that cup may be good. This cup may be real good now, but if you can't clean it really good, then it's not going to be approved for situation.
It's so crazy the things that they can like
The little
regulate
details.
like that. Yeah.
You should have saw how small the sink was. It was a joke. I thought it was like a Barbie playhouse, but it was approved. We
Yeah.
found it, so it was approved. So we had to, but it was really cool taking that challenge, and then we've expanded on it, and we won't jump from place to place to place yet. But that was a big thing, is converting old thinking into new thinking, and the same thing there. We can go into details of how we did it, but when you take an idea, you take someone's passion, you say, I can add to it. I can bring more to the table. And it's not because they weren't capable. Their mind just was stuck in their past. And when it started, that's how it worked. And so I got to tell myself daily to stay open-minded without getting crazy. So how can you make something better without going off and buying 2 more popcorn machines? Because that was a little crazy. But yeah, I mean, that was one of those things to where I think the shaved ice stand. Oh, sorry, I got distracted on the story of, so I bought it. Remember, I was young, just got back in, hired my sister, a couple of her friends from school. We're going to get started. And then at the time, and she's with us now, the time the lady of the bowling alley saw a bunch of punk kids coming in, and she's like, you can't be here anymore. So for 10 or 20 years, the stand sat in the same spot, same everything. And then overnight, the minute I bought it, I started out with a, get out.
They kicked you out. Yeah. Because that was something. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
They, that's what I was wondering. I was like, did he get a lot with it? Anything like
Nope.
that? So they were just allowing this lady
They were renting to her $300 a month.
rent. Oh, she was $300 a month?
I know, they're making some money, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's
Prime location right across from McDonald's.
I guess so, but
So
man,
you
the
get your
parking
hands
lot
on
wasn't that nice.
No, oh no, it was junk. It was
Wow.
junk.
But okay, so that was a big question I had was, did you get a lot or how'd that work out? So you buy it and then they immediately evict you.
They immediately evicted me. So we closed for that season because we had nowhere to go. And then we found the old gas station, the old Delano, or I don't want to say Delano. It may not have been the Delano, not the one next to the First Baptist Church. We found a gas station on the highway.
Yeah.
And we did that for a couple of years. Great. We were going to buy it. And then the tanks in the ground was an issue, which is a touchy subject. So I don't know how deep you want to go into touchy subjects, but they ended up buying it for pennies on the dollar, ripping the tanks out, and now we have a eyesore that sits on our main drag. That has,
You didn't buy it though.
No, I
Somebody
couldn't.
else
Once
did.
again, the moral of this story is banks don't help people unless they have money, credit, or co-signers. So if you start poor, you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to earn it.
Yeah.
You're going to have to find the owners. You're going to have to talk to them. You're going to have to sell yourself, sell your business. And then when you get a little bit of collateral, hold on to it and use it and leverage it and build it.
Leverage is big.
So like I said, imagine for conversation's sake, a gas station on the main highway with awnings, bathrooms, building for $12,000 and the bank telling you, no.
Now what? Because I know there's lots of old gas stations all over the place that shut down, and they're in great locations.
Those tanks.
Why is it? What's with the tanks?
So the old tanks, when they leak, they infect the ground. So how it works is if I sold you a gas station right now for $1, has 5 tanks in the ground. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to check their records and say, okay, this gas station's been closed. You have to pull up the tanks. No big deal. 10, 20,000 a tank. I'll pull it up. 10,000 a tank. Let's say for conversation.
This
5
is if
tanks.
you want to have a business on it.
In general, no, that's the catch.
In order to buy it.
No, you can buy it, but that's your cancer now. So when OSHA's not the right word. When the environmental people come in, they're going to test the ground, and they're going to say this ground has leaked gas in it from 40 years ago, because the ground is you now have to pay to remove that dirt. Now we're going to go out 10 feet.
Why can't they drain the gas?
Back in the old days, the tanks would just leak, or they would just miss their spot, and they would just over the years become contaminated. So that dirt is contaminated. And once again, Google for yourself. I'm just going off what I was told. They said, we're going to come out, we're going to test. If it's fine, then you just pay the money, pull up the tanks, 30, 40, 50,000, you're good. If it's not fine, then not only did you pay for that test, but we're going to go out 10 more feet and we're going to test again. You now have to pay to remove all that dirt. Pull it up, let it sit, let it dry, let it haul off. if we keep going out past other people's property, they can sue you. We're going to keep going until there's no more damaged dirt.
Oh,
so,
wow.
So he told me, the guy, and I was talking to the actual environmental guy, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the people, but I'm sure someone in the comments will fill it in. But he told me, I have 3 gas stations on main drags in St. Louis right now I can sell you for $1. Because they know
They're
the tank's
useless.
leaked, and they know that it's a gamble, and they know. So, but anyway,
But yeah, because if it goes out to the edge of your property, you can't do nothing.
No, they keep going. So, and they're going to tear up the road. The city can sue you then to
But
replace
you
it.
could, or you can just choose to stop.
No. Once the environmental starts, it don't stop until they stop the cancer. So, no, there is no. Oh no.
So how like the ones that are just sitting there stagnant right
They
now?
don't test them yet, and eventually they're going to come up due.
And then
Yeah, it's one of those, you don't get caught until you get caught. But once you get, and you're on a list, there's a list of gas stations, and they're just going through. The list is so long, they're eventually going to get there. And when they get there, somebody's going to be stuck with a bill, and it's probably going to end up on a public auction.
I feel like it's only a matter of time before every gas station ends up leaking a little gas out.
for sure. That's why they got to stay up to date, and they got to stay up to, and as long as they stay in. But yeah, the ones that go out, yeah, I'm curious to see. I'm really curious. Our local Casey's, when they move, are they going to rip their tanks up so they can sell the land? Are they going to attempt to? I don't know. I'm just curious to see.
And is it just going to be another eyesore right there off the main drag strip?
Right, exactly. Which would make an awesome farmer's market. It would make an awesome local something. But with those tanks in the ground, it becomes a danger.
Yeah,
And,
certainly does.
or a risk, a gamble, not a danger. No one's going to go eat the dirt there, but you
Yeah.
get the idea.
Yeah.
It's a gamble. So anyway,
Yeah, so you didn't get that.
there's your knowledge for gas stations a little
Yeah,
bit.
well, I
So-
always wondered too because
Yeah.
I know, you see it all the time.
Yeah.
It's a very common thing, and you see a lot of old gas stations just sitting for a long time, and I always heard about it.
Yeah.
But I never really had the opportunity to talk to anyone that actually had dealt with the situation.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad you were able to tell me a little bit more
it's
about
gonna
it.
bore. Make sure you put a marker in where they can fast forward past the. You get to me and be like, if you don't want to hear about gas stations, click here.
Nah,
So,
they can screw them. They can just skip through if they want. If they don't want to listen to it.
But yeah, so we didn't get that. They got it for pennies on the dollar, and then it's a long story, but that's when we met.
Hey, we
Eli's.
got plenty of time.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
These long
Yeah.
stories, some people want.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So we met Eli's, and then Eli's here in town, super nice couple. He's sitting on the front porch. I just started talking with him. They ended up same thing. Owner finance is going to be the key of the thing. The only thing I owned to my name at that time was a shaved ice stand.
You're talking the Eli's are the ones that own the lots.
The owns the lots behind the post office at this time.
Yep.
So before I bought it, it was such an eyesore that if you were to ask the people what was behind the post office, they would tell you the park, because their mind, one house was collapsed in where it burnt. Mm-hmm. There was over 9 dead trees taller than the houses. There was over 13 dead bushes taller than a human being. It was full of trash, tires, refrigerators, water heaters. So people just mentally they blocked it out.
Yeah.
So when you said what's behind it,
I agree.
Yeah.
I would if like looking back on it.
Right.
If somebody would have said what's back there, I'd be like, I didn't know there was anything back there. I
Exactly,
thought it was just the post office,
Yeah.
and then went straight to the park.
And I believe they ended up losing them to like taxes, city, and everything else. Eli started collecting them up and then listed them all for sale. And I just couldn't. The bank wouldn't do anything. So I went to Eli's, and I had to sit and wait for 6 months for it to come off the market for me to be able to.
Oh, because they had it listed through a
It was
realtor, and
listed
there was
through a realtor,
it was-
the whole
yeah.
setup. And I said, hey, look, I don't have the money. I don't have the setup. I don't have anything. But if it doesn't sell, I have a shaved ice stand. And if I don't make you payments, you can keep it.
Now, were you able to do that? Were you out a whole year because of that?
No, it fell in the off season.
So it worked out.
Worked out perfect.
Just worked out great.
Yeah.
And then did you do all the clearing yourself?
No.
The house you couldn't have.
Yeah, no,
But
the house.
I guess the trees were too big too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the trees. I actually ended up getting in trouble for the trees. Shoemaker excavating. I paid him. I said, how much would you cost to bring out that big old machine you got and just rip them right out of the ground? And he did. He gave me a good price, and he came through and he didn't cut them or anything. I had to do all the cutting, but he ripped them all out, put my picture in the paper, and then I got in trouble because I didn't pay for a permit to have Yeah,
to
but
be able to do that.
yeah, that's gonna be another moral of the story. Is I get in trouble a lot for not paying for permits. But
Well, what's the saying? It's easier to ask for forgiveness
you
than
better believe it.
permission.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my
hey,
goodness, yeah.
do it and
yes.
see how long you get away with it. Why
For
not?
sure. Yeah. If there's another side note out of this, is if you have dreams you want to chase and you don't have money and you don't have the safety net, small towns are the way to do it because of that situation, because of the regulations, and because of the lax laws. I was able to get away with a lot that there's no way in the city you'd be able to get away
Yeah,
with.
if you go St. Louis or a big
There's
city like
no
that,
way.
yeah, they're gonna be on you
Yes. So when
every step of the way.
and people are like, what's the benefit of a small town? If you want to chase your dreams, the small town is a place to chase your dreams. I
Yeah.
mean, look where we came from, what we did, and that is a fact that, like I said, we worked on our own. here's a way around the rules. You can't have a trailer in town. Okay. Mm-hmm. The shaved ice stand was a trailer. So how'd you get away with it? Well, you had to put cinder blocks and jack the wheels off the ground 3 inches.
Oh,
So it wasn't a trailer anymore because you jacked the wheels off the ground 3 inches. So every summer we had to pull it out, jack it up, put cinder blocks underneath it, so that way it can't be moved, and go from there.
Wow.
That would never fly. That would never. That
Right.
would be. But once again, she was around before. She was around 20, 30 years prior to me showing up.
so she started in '80s.
Yes.
Whoa.
I was only able to track the tax records back to '94, but that doesn't mean much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But it was in the '80s. She was there for 20 years prior to me buying it, and I bought it in 2011. So if you do the math, 81, something like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah. So
So the trailer that's on it now,
yes,
because you sold that business,
that trailer.
not
now,
the business, but you sold the trailer.
I sold the trailer first, and then I bought a shed from the Amish in Cuba, 5-star buildings.
That's right.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
yes,
We
now
moved the
it's
trailer
legit.
over. We need more room. We need to grow, and we have the land.
How
all
long
set
did it
up.
take you? Sorry to cut you
Yeah,
off,
yeah,
but
go ahead.
how long did
Yeah.
it take you? How long were you in the trailer? Because you had just redone the trailer.
Yeah.
So how long did you stay in the trailer before you're like, okay, it's time to upgrade?
Year 1, we got evicted from the bowling alley. 2 more years, we got evicted from the gas station because someone bought it. And then we bought the land. We then did 1 year on the land, and then we needed more room. We've outgrown it. It was time to grow. And so we bought a shed. We went from a trailer to a shed, working our way up the ghetto ladder there. And you should have saw the Amish, I keep calling him Amish. I don't know if he's really Amish. He looks pretty Amish. The people at 5-star buildings up there, when I told him I wanted a red, white, and blue roof, and he goes, I've never done different metal on the roofs. I said, so you can't do it? He's like, oh, I can do it, but I've never done it before. And I said, yeah, I want a red, white, and blue roof. Red, white, blue, red, white, blue. And he thought, as crazy as crazy. He made me sign this no refund, or, blah, 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 all this stuff. And next thing you know, he's sponsoring us in his books and his little magazines and stuff.
I think it was a great idea.
And I mean, moral of that story is no one's going to believe in you until you get it done. So be your biggest person to believe in yourself, because even him.
Yeah,
building,
everybody's so easy to doubt.
oh my goodness.
They're just like, everybody just wants you to follow along with the masses.
Oh yeah, try buying a bank.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. So then, yeah, you were there for.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So then we moved into there. We needed the extra room because we bought out our ice supplier. Because once again, to save money, buy your supplier. So we were buying ice at $3.50 a block back then. I only know what it is now. And we ended up just buying their machine. I was like, how much just to sell me the machine? And so we started making our own ice.
Oh.
And then, so now we were all in-house. We made our own simple syrups. We made our own ice and everything else. So that was good. And then we expanded. I wish I could show you some pictures. And then I wanted to do a drive-through donuts. And this is another one where Danielle comes back into the picture. Is by this time, I've quit over the road, and I started working for Tom and Danielle Farrar at St. James Oil. And I was still doing the shaved ice in the summer, and I needed to break the 9 to 5. I needed to find something that would push me past into the winter months. And she's the only one that believed in me. Banks wouldn't touch me, no one would touch me, and she co-signed for me a loan to buy a donut machine. And then I went back to the Amish, who built me a 3-walled shed extension and drug it and bolted it to. It's still there to this day. Mm-hmm. So if you ever look at that building, they literally built a 3-walled shed drug it up and just bolted it on like ghetto. It was really cool. But
You know, I've never noticed it, though.
yeah,
I never
you will
noticed
now. Now every time you drive by,
Yeah,
and
sure.
because the donut machine was like 9 feet tall, and you can't just bring it into a normal door, so that shed had to have a door. So whenever you go to the drive-through, that door is pretty much a wall, or that wall is pretty much a door, and it opens up to get the donut machine in. And that was my way to break the 9 to 5, and that was my push she gave me to. She allowed me to have to get that going. So,
but you didn't do donuts for very long.
no. Moral of the story is, and here's a good one for you. So my teachers are going to love this. Moral of the story is either you're a morning person or you're not a morning person. And I thought, hey, if we buy a $50,000 donut machine, you'll become a morning person. That is a lie. That is not true. I can tell you right now, $50,000 will not be enough motivation. So what would happen is we would close down the shaved ice, get out of there about 10 or 11, and then we have to start again at 2 a.m. And when my employee would call in,
you got to get up early.
Yeah, you got to make
the
donuts.
donuts before everybody
and
gets
at
there.
the time, Hertz Donuts was popular in Springfield, so we wanted to take a page from their book. A side note, and this is going to be a quick side note. My goal has always been to take good ideas from places that would never deal with Owensville and bring them to our town. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, our chicken bowl is KFC. Our lemonade smasher is Chick-fil-A. I mean,
you're just implementing great ideas that are succeeding all over the world, and you're trying to bring them and make them part of our community. Yeah.
And if KFC has a problem with it, they can move into our town, but they won't because we're not big enough. But anyway, so that was a little distracted on that, but that's what the situation was there. Is Hertz Donuts was extremely popular, blowing up on Facebook and social media and everything else, and I wanted to bring that to Owensville, and that's what we did for about 6 months. It did great, did amazing actually, but the issue is my employees quit showing up. People wouldn't be there, so I would get off at 10, 11 o'clock and then get up at 2 o'clock, and I can't do that forever.
It's rough.
And that was, so when the opportunity came, she came to me to buy a restaurant, I jumped. I was like, yeah. So once again, she walked up to the shaved ice stand, bought a hot fudge sundae, and said, "Are you serious about buying this restaurant?" Because at the time,
was this Danielle?
Cardi's Chicken Shack. No, this was Camp Party's Chicken. At the time, she's been for sale 2 or 3 times for 6 months at a time, and nobody wanted it.
So had you talked to her sometime? Like,
I ate there. I like chicken, so that was one of those.
So you were going in there, and you were always telling her, like, "Hey, theory. I would like to move into a storefront like this."
No. I went in there and said, I'll take a chicken wrap and a burrito. So no, and then it was for sale forever, but I did not have the capabilities. Once again, a bank's not going to loan on it. Nobody wanted it at the time because, I mean, it was rough. It was a rough, I mean, we're talking, when you go eat at a chicken place and there's pictures of live chickens everywhere, it's not the best, it's not the, a lot of the decor in there was older than I was. And once again, started with a good passion, but never evolved. So the moral of that one is if you start something, if you're so, I don't want to say closed-minded, but if you can't evolve, you will get stuck in a time to where eventually time will pass you up, and someone with more of a passion is going to come in and revive your business. And that's, so anyway, so how that works was
stop growing. If you want to just do it and then just stop right there,
you're done.
You're done.
Yeah. And what was the saying? I don't remember who actually, sorry, I don't remember who gets the credit for the saying, but they're saying you're either growing or dying, period. So there is no standing still. So if you're standing still, your time is still ticking, and you only have so much time. So you're either going forward or you're dying. There is no standing still. So this time we were like,
I would agree with that too.
Yeah, I'm just going to rest. You're not resting.
Yeah.
So it's one of those that you're dying. And so all these people said, "Oh, I got a good thing." If Snowensville ever says, "We got a good thing, we're never growing again," our timer then starts.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, but your timer starts the minute you say, "I'm no longer making that Facebook post. I'm no longer growing. I'm no longer seeing what the town needs." Once you quit doing that, you will still be here, but not for long. And
you're right.
And that was
absolutely right.
Yeah.
And if somebody else comes in and they freaking blow you out of the water, you can't be upset because it's just like you sat back and did nothing.
Their passion, once again, like we talked with Popcorn Buddha and everything else, their passion was stronger than yours, period. And that's what it is. is your passion, when you're filling a void, that's the best part about capitalism, in my opinion, is when you're filling a void, there could be 10 people who sell French fries in a row. The one who puts the most effort into it, the one who puts their heart into it, the one who does their research, they're going to outlast everyone else. The one who's willing to go broke longer, the one who's willing to go without until everyone else falls off the board is going to be the last one standing. And that's huge.
Do you read like books, stuff like that?
Yeah,
Have you ever heard of the Pumpkin Plan?
No, I need to see it or read it. Is it good?
Dude, it's so good.
Yep.
It's so good. I have a copy. It's actually upstairs on my like right when you walk in. Yeah, you can borrow it. You know, I buy the book just because I want to support whoever made the book.
Right, yeah.
But I suck at reading.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
I try. I want to be good at it, but I think I have a little bit of ADHD, and so I can start reading a book and I get really distracted. And it's just hard for me to sit down. So I listen to a lot of audiobooks.
Yeah.
But one thing that he talks about in the book is that he says that if you have a business and you're competing with anyone, you have to be equal in every field and then exceed in one. You know, like you gotta compete in every category as the other business, but there's got to be one thing that makes you stand out and just be that much better.
Yes,
and that's what's going to pull them people in.
That's true. I mean, that's
at least one.
That's gold. Yeah, and that is. And I mean, there's times where you're going to be the same in almost every field, but as long as there's that one, and that's huge, and we focus on that too. Yeah, that is a very good. Yeah, that is a very good.
So okay, so the lady from Cardi's Chicken Shack, she came to you, approached you.
I'll own her finance.
She owner financed it to you.
Once again,
that's when
key story. Since so far we've bought the shaved ice stand from a shoebox of money. We then used the shaved ice stand to owner finance the land the shaved ice stand was on. We then used that to buy a shed, and then from there we get our first loan with the help of our mentor. And without her, and I want this on record, make sure this part doesn't stay out. Without Danielle Farrar, Snowensville would not be anything, because she believed in me to the start. There would be no Snowensville to this day. It would be stagnant, not because I'd want it to be stagnant, but because there would never be that next push to get us to where we needed to go. And that is huge, and that is something to be very grateful for, because I believe a lot of people, as they grow, they forget the people who got them to where they are. Mm-hmm. And no, there's no doubt in my mind that without that mentor, there would be no Snowensville. So be very grateful for the opportunity, big or small, you do have, for the push you do need. Because at the time, I was her salesman. I wasn't that good of a salesman because my passion isn't oil. Mm-hmm. I love talking to people. I love selling me.
Yeah.
But selling oil, if your passion's not there, it's not going to be there.
Yeah, you're not going to wake up and want to go to work.
No.
You're not going to be able to just keep pushing at whatever you do.
And that was my wake-up call.
Interest in it.
Is I was at work at St. James Oil, and I was a salesman, and I'm good at sales. I can sell anything to anybody, but I was training a new guy from Springfield, and he was in the car business forever. Whether, I don't know, it was Quick Lubes. He worked at anyway, his passion was cars, and he trumped me. And that was before I even realized that passion was so important. And I'd walk in, I'm like, okay, I'm going to show you how we're going to sell these people. And I'm going to do my pitch of, hey, if this don't work, I'm never going to bother you again, because I know people's time's worth money, so on and so forth. Next thing you know, he's in there talking about cars and years and models, and they're having this heart-to-heart conversation. I'm in the background like twiddling my thumbs. And he got the sale because of his passion. Mm-hmm. And that's when it started to ring with me that you can be good at a lot of things, but if you're not passionate about it.
Mm-hmm. So his passion was sales.
His passion was cars. And since he's sales was his second. My passion was sales. Cars is a farther than second. Uh-huh. His passion was cars. So if he's trying to sell to somebody with cars,
gotcha.
If I'm trying to sell you weights,
right,
it's not going to be very good.
Right.
Whereas if you were trying to sell another weight person weights, mm-hmm. you could probably go all day long on equipment and everything else. Mm-hmm. And then the sales comes second. So the same thing with the business is, I'm selling people, I'm selling people something I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about food. Well, I'm passionate about this food, and I'm passionate about business in general. And our key has always been blue collar families, because we were raised as a blue collar family. Mm-hmm. So there's a reason. I'm gonna push the buttons. There's a reason we're still going, and there's places that aren't, that could have bought us with the swipe of a credit card. Mm-hmm. It's not because of the money. It's because their passion wasn't there. You can have all the money in the world.
You're right.
You can have all the sales pitch in the world, all the charisma in the world. But if you don't got passion in the subject,
Yep. Yeah.
it's not there.
Yeah,
So,
you're totally right. And you say this blue collar, it stretches out. Like Missouri is just blue collar.
oh my goodness, yeah.
Like it's not just the small town of Owensville.
Oh, no.
St. Louis is country.
Yeah.
Even like Nelly's a rapper, but he came out with country grammar. Like
All that.
it's still very, very country.
Yeah, it's humbling. Small towns is humbling. My birth mother one time almost brought it to my attention that because she's from O'Fallon, and I was like, yeah, we're lower middle class, and she's like, oh no. She goes, I'm lower middle class, sitting there in a $500,000 home, stuff like that. She's like, you are low class.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, and because growing up here,
whoa.
yeah, we didn't assume we don't call ourselves poor. We just we're just surviving. We're happy with what we do.
Yeah.
But then when you talk to these people that are in the middle class, and they're like, no,
Yeah.
know your place, and it's like,
I offend a lot of people because I tell them, hey, we're a poor community.
Oh, yeah.
We're low income families. And they're like, well, I'm not poor.
Oh, no.
I'm not low income.
And that's the thing.
And I'm like, yes, we are.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not saying it to offend anyone. It's the facts.
Well, that's because in our eyes, what we consider poor.
the perspective.
So when you say poor, when someone says poor, we're thinking of our version of poor, and we're like, we're not that, which is true. But in the bigger spectrum, in the bigger cities, in the bigger world, and I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't want it. I would not want a high class lifestyle. Once again, I would not want what they have.
No, you go out to like L.A., Austin,
Oh, my goodness.
Miami,
Yeah,
New
right.
York. That's rich. That's high income. But that's a totally different lifestyle.
Okay, but at that same time, you go to the kid in a trailer park in Austin, Texas, and say, okay, you're going to start a restaurant, and I'm giving you nothing. There's no way. It's not going to happen. You might as well big cities create people to work for their corporations.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Well, they need lots of employees.
you can't afford the rent. You couldn't afford the insurance. There's no way in those cities. So if you were chasing your dream as an entrepreneur and you're starting in a big city, you better have a really big nest egg. You better have someone that gave you a lot of something, because at the end of the day, and I think that's a really, really thing. So when we say like Owensville is middle class, blue collar, lower class, whatever it is, I stay away from the classes and I stay more blue collar, because Owensville works for what we have.
Yeah.
And that is the clientele I'm looking for.
Owensville and surrounding communities.
Right. Yeah.
All surrounding
Right.
communities.
Yes. Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I keep saying Owensville because we're Snowensville. But at the end of the day, yeah. I mean, if you go off of our analytics, there's only about 48% of the people from Owensville. A huge majority is from Gerald, Rosebud, Bland, Bell. That's a huge majority of our people. And I
We
think
get Cuba, Herman,
oh my goodness.
New Haven.
And
Yeah.
there's places like Yesteryears, and I'm not gonna brag on us too much, but we draw people from Cuba a lot. And when those people come in, they're then stopping other places, so on and so forth. And Walmart helps a lot. And I know that's going to be a cliche thing, but if that same Walmart was in Gerald or Bell or Bland or whatever, that would draw out instead of drawing in. So the people from Bell, Bland, Gerald, Rosebud, if they want to go to Walmart, they come in, and that gives us an opportunity. And I always thought it was cool. A cool part about Owensville, when I was running Domino's for a while, I ran Domino's for almost a decade. And they taught me a lot of knowledge in the business world, sent me out to Vegas, stuff like that. And I was able to apply it in the business world. But a surviving business has to have strengths on both sides. So the reason why you don't see Gerald growing as much as Owensville is because Owensville has Bland, Bell, Rosebud, Gerald to come in.
Yeah.
Whereas Gerald has Rosebud to the left,
And then not much
to the
on
right.
others. Yeah.
So you have to be surrounded, and Owensville's strategically in a good spot to where we're a hub.
Well, we also have the high school, so
Yes.
everybody's coming in for
Very
all
true.
the high school sports. And then we brought in this super center, Walmart
Yes.
Super Center,
Yes.
so people are coming in for that. We have the restaurants, and we have a lot of things that keep pulling people in.
Right.
But it's because we
Because
have the
of that.
strengths
Yes.
to be able to support it.
Walmart's not stupid. They saw the algorithm and said, this will work here. And then so it's cool. It's luck, but it's cool that Owensville has been able to be a a center point for our small surroundings. Once again, not huge, but enough to keep our businesses flourishing, enough to keep, like I said, young entrepreneurs, small entrepreneurs, however you want to do it, able to succeed in doing what we do, is because our environment is prime for it. So if you ever fail at something in a town that's not prime for it, it may not be you just didn't have the knowledge or do your research for what it is. So don't give up just because you failed. Make sure you just learn and then listen to
fail
stuff
and learn.
Right.
If you didn't learn,
No.
that's when a failure goes to waste.
When your fourth business fails in Gerald, don't blame Gerald. Your business wasn't built to fill a need in that town. So you have to fill a need in a town that could possibly bring in more people. And that's always been the recipe. So
yeah. So you bought out Cardi's.
yep, and we just repeat the process. So,
And that's where you picked up the chicken, and that's where stuff come in.
Same theory.
Because you got everything.
Their fryers. The same theory as the shaved ice stand is we bought the chicken place, and we had their machinery, we had their equipment, their hoods, their dishwashers, and stuff like that. And we were able to grow off that. We needed the basics, and then we needed to grow, and that's what we did. The same thing with the shaved ice stand. Interesting side note before we get too far off that shaved ice stand. The ice shaver that is in the shaved ice stand to this day is the same ice shaver she bought in the 80s. So it is literally older than I am, and that is the only thing left. Everything else is new. Everything else has changed. Everything else, but the heart of that business.
I guess it's all stainless though, so it looks fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm just at first I was thinking like this old rusty machine, and then I'm like, no, it's stainless. It's fine,
good.
perfectly
It's good.
fine.
And they were built to last back then, and so it's the original heart still going. So I think that's kind of cool.
That is cool.
But anyway, yeah. So on to the chicken place. We just repeated the process. We bought it. We then went deep into research, and which is a little easier for me because eating chicken was my specialty. So deep into research of what we need, what we can fix, what we can make better, what we can get rid of. And that's just kind of what we did. And we just continue to evolve every day and then repeat the process. And here we are.
Yeah, because you weren't there very long, and then you bought the bank. You were there 5 years.
5 years. Yeah.
Dang, 5 years goes quick.
That's the gap. So 5 years in the trailer, 5 years, almost 5 years, I guess. No. I did 5 years at the restaurant. I'll have to do the math in between there. I don't know how long I owned the shed, the shaved ice stand shed. But yeah, and then 5 years at the diner, and then we moved to the bank. And
you've been there how long now?
The bank?
Yep, going on a year.
We closed the diner in December. We signed the papers in the bank in February. We opened it up June 1st to close it back down due to complication. Oh,
okay,
yeah. We're talking months or weeks at this point. Yeah, a month and a half. That's it. So
yeah, well, because it used to be a bank.
Yep.
Because I know there's going to be people not from Owensville community listening to this.
Okay.
You bought the bank out.
Yes.
There was a bank on Main Street.
Yes.
And prime location. Yep. They shut down. You bought them out, but you basically gutted the place and redid it all.
It was, oh my goodness, yeah. So it was perfect for what we needed. So imagine being a small restaurant and a larger facility opens up that has drive-throughs, extra parking, an extra building, just more room in general. And all you had to do was just fill in the blanks. And yeah, like I said, people thought I was crazy. Here's a cool.
They always do.
You want to talk about the fate thing? You talked about fate earlier. This is a weird one. So I've always wanted it. Could never afford it. And no thanks to any local banks around here, because they all also would not help me. I had to go all the way. And once again, here we go. Danielle Farrar. Without her, none of this would be realistic. Did she co-sign for me? No. But she guided me to the right people, to the right banks. So my personal bank was like, no, almost laughed me out of the house. And then the bank that was selling it said no, because I had bankruptcy on my record that the 10-year mark was up in 36 days, and they said I was high risk. So 9 years, 330 days, and then 36 days I was high risk. So they said no. And then the only ones I didn't talk to, because I don't want to throw them under the bus, I did not access Legends Bank because they were dealing with some other people. at the time. So when I say no local bank helped me, not Legends. So I'm not throwing any heat your way, Legends, but yeah, no local bank helped me. And Danielle said, go talk to this guy. This guy's really good. And so I did. I contacted him, and yeah, I mean,
So you went with an out-of-town bank?
Oh, Neosho, Missouri. We're talking like Arkansas type out-of-town bank. So yeah, there was 36 rejections before we got a yes.
Dang.
36 rejections.
See, and that takes something too, because most people, they get rejected once or twice.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. I was contacting angel investors. I was contacting. Yeah.
So when you were doing, was it, they were turning you down because of the cost of the building versus probably what you were making, and they're just like, we don't know if it's going to be worth it.
In the eyes of a bank or an investor, you're always worth nothing. So if you are judging yourself off of what investors go off, you're going to feel very, very depressed. Know your worth, because these bankers do not. They've seen so many failures. They've seen so much that...
And a lot of them are just they just sign contracts.
Oh, yeah.
That's all they're doing. They're not entrepreneurs.
No, they don't care.
They have...
This whole hometown stuff. And once again, no heat towards Legends, because Legends may have been the one. I may have traveled all the way out of town and Legends, but it's easy in hindsight to say, oh yeah, I would have helped you. But so I should have done it just so I could say no one. But yeah, this whole hometown stuff, it's very it's a good sales pitch, but at the end of the day, unless you have money, collateral, or anything else. So and I wasn't able to do the old fashioned owner finance situation.
Yep.
So, but anyway, we found him once again, thanks to Danielle. So when I say without Danielle, there'd be no Snowensville. But back to the fate thing we were talking about. I wanted it. And I was listening to a motivational speaker, and he said, do what others won't to have what others don't. And he said, think about that. He goes, because you hear it. He goes, you see it in memes. He goes, but think about that. When you say, I've tried everything, have you tried everything? And it really hit home to me, because at this point, I mean, I've lived in homelessness. I've lived homeless. I've lived to chase my dreams. I mean, I lived in abandoned houses. It was crazy. The stuff I've done to get to where I was, and the stuff I sacrificed to get to where I was. And then I caught myself in that stagnant water we were talking about, to where I had a shaved ice stand, I had a business, and I was comfortable. And they said, and that hit me when it said, do what others won't. He goes, when you say you sacrifice everything, did you sacrifice everything in your comfort zone, or did you sacrifice everything? And that was it. And it hit me. And that day, your first people who came in here, Kathleen's, the first person, they came over and ate at my place all the time. The first one that walked in didn't have a real estate agent. I said, I didn't want you to sell this business. So I walked in. She's like, you're selling the diner? I'm like, right now. I said, you're my agent. And she went back over. Kelsey Strump came back over, took the pictures, jumped on it. Because a lot of people could have called your bluff. Okay, I'll get back with you. Okay, I'll get back with you. And then I listed my shaved ice stand for sale. And I had to sell both to buy the bank. So if I sold the diner before I saw the shaved ice stand, that's not enough money to buy the bank. I then lose my entire business. Game over. And I'm back to a shaved ice stand. I'm back to square one.
Yeah.
So the odds of me selling both in Owensville was rare. And I really, looking back, I'm like, oh, that's stupid. That was crazy. But that is what it took to get it done. And I was like, but if we sell the shaved ice stand first, then I'll still have the comfort of the diner to keep me going until then. I'll be dang if Ray didn't buy the diner first.
Yeah.
So Ray was first. So now my worst case scenario, and so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to unemploy all these people and go back to my shaved ice stand, and we're back to square one.
Yeah.
Now, at any point in time, the bank could have sold. So let's say I sold my diner, and then the bank sold to someone else.
Yeah. And then now you're out of a business.
Now I'm out of business.
Yeah.
So,
holy cow.
Yeah, it was a stressful situation.
I'm sure.
And then so Ray ended up buying that, and then the Nilges came in, Ginger Nilges and her husband came in and eaten at the diner. And for some reason, because I've had tons of people, when you list stuff for sale, all the people come out of the woodwork. Oh, I'll buy. Oh, will you take a van for it? Oh, all this stuff. And they came in, they sat down to eat. And while they were eating their meal, I had a wholehearted talk about the business, everything. I mean, all the passion, all the knowledge that I had just went into it. And I'll be dang if they didn't buy it. So now we sold both. And now we had no business with the chance of locking in for that. But anyway, so yes, sacrifice a lot out of my comfort zone. A lot. That would have been interesting.
And then you get to rebuilding it.
Yeah, and then
you go to open it.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
And then the AC units go out, right?
Oh, that's the tip of the iceberg on that. I mean, we walked in 15. That might as well have been a bucket store. There's 15 buckets in the ceiling for the leaks of the roof. Yeah, I mean, there was just, we had to, from the ground up, between the mold and the carpets. So we had to rip up all the carpets. Because my goal was, because I was, at the time, you know, you want to be optimistic. Oh, I don't have to have any money. We're going to take all the money we have, buy this building. We're going to come in Ponderosa style with the gritty carpets. We're not doing nothing. We're going to ghetto this thing up. And then we walked in, and then there's mold in the carpets. I'm like, why is there mold in the carpets? And then I looked up, and then the ceiling was leaking at multiple locations. Then the electrical was all, so we had to do new electrical, new floors, new ceiling, and then one thing led to another, and yeah, so it was kind of, and I tell people this because this is kind of tacky, but it's the truth. It is every time I've had to do something stupid, we had to replace this, replace that. I'd ask myself, do you regret it? Do you regret it? And at no point in time did I regret it. So whatever lit that fire that day when I just put my stuff up for sale stayed burning throughout the entire time. I wanted to be back open. There's a YouTube video saying we'll be back open in 30 to 60 days. Not even close. Not even close. But that was my goal. Yeah, so I have video proof that I was sincere that we are going to get in there, and this one challenge after another challenge after another challenge. And yeah, but every time there was no, oh, I can't believe I bought this lemon. Oh, I can't believe this. Every time I was like, this is what it takes to get it done. This is the dream. This is what we're going to do. And we did. We sacrificed everything. And don't get me wrong, we're in a hole, and we are climbing out of the hole day by day by day because, yeah. So we're at this point where what high interest, what bad debt loan do you pay off first to get out? Because towards the end, we're doing payday loans with, we were doing whatever it was just to get the doors open. I mean, we're talking to the line,
Dang.
and tons of great people along the way. But yes, that's but at no point in time did I regret. No point in time did I have a feeling in my stomach like I can't believe I did this.
Yeah.
And that's when you know something's right. Yeah. If you get into it in the first couple of weeks, you're like, oh, what did I get into? Maybe that wasn't meant for you, because this was the big challenge. This was the challenge that and I had tons of ironically, I don't want to say ironically, that's going to sound sexist. Most of my mentors are females. So all my mentors are females, between Danielle and Debbie from yesteryears would always be there to motivate. Hey, keep going. Hey, you're doing great. Sue Hands from Farmers Insurance. She was a huge motivation, almost like when you were motivating, or when you were watching my social media. I would be eating at the roller mill down there that Sue and Doug Hands owned. And I would see the environment they created. So it was the chicken wings, the burgers, the catfish. Now, when it was a bar, it was a bar. It was going to feel as a bar, but the family environment, there's times in between those bars where Sue and Doug created a family environment. There was hoops, basketball hoops, and skee balls, and all that stuff.
Where is this at?
The roller mill right here in Owensville, on down Springfield Road.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I guess that was just a time
there
where
was just a gap. Yeah. And there was a gap to where they had pizza buffets with hot wings on it and everything else. And ironically, Rob, my manager, was the cook for her.
Oh.
So he was running the show back in the day when I was still just eating out at places. But when you walked in, it was an old roller mill, and you could see like up through the ceiling, and you could see really cool stuff, the old bar and the weights and everything else. And that's when it clicked that the environment is what sold it. The food, it was all right. It was good food. But it was nothing, almost like mine. Sure, my food's good because I say it's good, but at the end of the day.
You ever been to Lambert's?
Oh yeah, see, same theory.
Yeah,
same.
When you're talking environment, I'm thinking in my head. I'm thinking about, because your building looks fantastic.
And that's the goal: create the environment.
The first day I came in to your new building, I was in a hurry. And like I was just like in a hurry. I was like, I want to go try this place out. And it was because I seen all your social media stuff, and I'm like, man, this guy's really putting in some work, and I'm like, I just want to try it out. I want to see this new business in town. And so I went in, and the place instantly when you walk in. Just it looks amazing.
It was,
you with the vault and like the game room there.
Yeah.
Awesome. You have the
Turn the teller counters into a bar.
yeah. It's like almost like a little diner style bar. So you can just
no
if you,
alcohol.
If you,
Just,
just the way it's set up,
Yeah.
kind of to be able to come and sit there if you want. And then it just like everything in there you can tell is all new. It just looks so nice
So
in
good,
there,
yeah.
nice and bright.
Yes. Oh yeah, the LEDs. Over 48 LEDs total to change out those old bulbs. Oh, that was horrible. We did all of it ourselves. We
Converted
yeah.
the light
We had to
fixtures?
rip out the old light fixtures and put the new LEDs in.
Yep.
And that was
You cut the ballast out and wire them together.
Yeah.
Is that how it is?
Yeah. We took the whole thing out, and then now you can buy those entire 4x4 LED lights for it just plugs in, just one plug in, runs them all. So you don't have to do ballast anymore or nothing. So it's just-
So you ran new light fixtures.
yeah. Oh, new electric, new lights, new
because
everything.
you can also you can
Switch
buy,
out the ballast.
Yeah, well, you can cut the ballast out, wire it together, and then get bulbs that
Yep.
don't require
No,
ballast.
we didn't want the bulbs, almost like your lights here. We wanted that warmth of the light that came down. We didn't want to see any lines, whether it was LED or not. We wanted to make sure it was a. But yes, so we don't get sidetracked off that. I believe the environment of a business, of a restaurant.
Yeah, we
if you
did get
walk
sidetracked.
in, if it feels good, then the food tastes good. If, like you said, you just have to exceed in one area. So if the service is good, the food is okay, and the environment's good, then that was always our goal, and that's what we wanted to do. And anyone who can name a restaurant they went to that they enjoyed, whether they subconsciously knew it or not, that was the environment. I made a post 15 years ago that the happiest place on earth was peeing in an Applebee's urinal while listening to their music. Why? Because it was a clean bathroom. I was full of mediocre microwave Applebee's food, and the music was good.
Yeah.
And I was at a urinal.
It was just nice in there
But
and
the
you enjoyed it.
environment. So, and once again, you're not gonna get too many reviews on I enjoyed peeing here. But that was, and so it just goes to show that if you create an environment and you don't lose focus of the environment you create, then that's just as important as the food you serve. And I think that's going to be expanded on more in the future as people get away, as people are more electronic and everything else. Holding on to that environment is going to be huge, because you're either going to walk in and say this is nice, or you're going to walk in and feel unwelcome. And the minute anything negative hits your brain, everything negative hits your brain, because once your brain starts finding it.
So let's I'd like to talk about like just kind of what you just said for a second, because what I've noticed is, and it's in every community, but especially smaller towns.
Yes.
Where people kind of get to where they're going to be repeat going to these same restaurants
the
over and
time,
over.
yes.
And I don't know what it is. I hear people say it all the time. They're like, oh, there's nowhere to eat around here.
Oh my goodness.
And so they're always complaining there's nowhere to
Yeah.
eat. But then when somewhere new opens up, everybody rushes into the restaurant, tries it out, and like the first month, the business is just getting going. They're figuring out. They're
Oh,
working
my
the
goodness.
bugs out of
Yeah.
everything.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
figuring out
You
how
know.
many people they need, everything like that.
Yeah.
And so all these, and then you get this influx of customers, and the people are like, they find anything,
Oh, they tear into them.
anything to
Owens-
just rip, and not just Owensville.
No,
Every community, and they just want to. They're like, oh, it was a 45-minute wait, or they didn't bring me my water, my
And
drinks
we're
fast
horrible for
enough.
that. Our wait, Snowensville from day one, our wait has been just horrible, but we've embraced it. We know that we tell people we're not fast food. We're good food as fast as we can, and that's just. But yeah, no, that's
People are, but they look
Yeah.
for so many reasons to
Oh, for
just
sure.
tear a business down and not want to go back.
Yep.
And then it's the business goes out of business.
Yeah.
The restaurant shuts down, and then they start complaining there's nowhere to eat again. It's
Right.
like, well, maybe if you guys didn't freaking rip this business to shreds
Yeah.
when they were open,
Yep.
just give them 6 months.
yeah.
I quit going to restaurants in the first month when they open.
Yeah,
Because
I tell
of that
people
reason.
that, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, let the freaking, let 'em work
Including
their
my
bugs
own.
out.
Including, I tell
Really?
people, yeah, I tell them, don't come to my place in the first month unless you want to be a hamster, because we're learning. And I told everyone the same thing about Mabu. Is it Mabuhay? Mabuhay?
I haven't been there.
Mabuhay?
The new Asian restaurant?
So keep in mind, this is not a franchise. They've never ran a restaurant before in their life. She can make really, really good food, but to make really, really good dish and to make 50 really, really good dishes there's a lot different process, like you said. And so she has to learn, I say she, Ray's her husband, Ray is also part of the group. They have to learn how to keep the quality while going in bulk and how to be able to work numbers. And so, like you said, the first couple of months. So when people come in and say, "Oh, have you tried the new Asian place? It's really good," I say, give them a couple months. If you tried a new Asian place, it's horrible. Give them a couple months. Let them find their groove. Because one time it may be great. The next time you may be the 40th customer on the list, and they only know how to make 30 at this point because they haven't grown to that point. And the same thing with the shaved ice stand. I mean, we had it going for a long time, almost a decade, if not a decade. And we had to learn also. So when people are like, "Oh, it's not the same," it's not the same. You're right. It's not the same. I gave them as much knowledge as I could, but you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. You have to give them time to learn. And don't get me wrong, a couple years down the road, they still haven't learned.
Yeah.
Ask them.
Yeah.
Because the market will
Maybe they're not wanting to learn.
the market, exactly right. But give them the benefit of the doubt. And the same thing. And we've just been in this long enough to where it's no longer, "Oh, I've lost sleep." Oh, at the beginning, you lose so much sleep. No matter what you do, it's not good enough.
Can't make everybody happy.
And
some people are just looking for excuses,
But
or looking for things just to gripe
yes,
about.
but as a business owner, I feel that we've fallen into the same trap of we are looking for the customers who are looking for the excuses. Instead of acknowledging the customers who keep us going, instead of being grateful for the ones we have, we are focusing all of our attention on the ones who want to complain.
You almost start to cater a little bit to the
Yes.
ones that are complaining to try to keep them happy.
And taking for granted the ones who
When
keep
really
our
you
doors
should
open.
just be giving back and
that's it.
praising them.
And over the last couple years, how do I say this the right way? Over when the risk gets so high, when everything's on the line, when you've sacrificed everything, and then you have 10 years into it, when you have time into it, you no longer cater to the people who want to find flaws in you. And I find myself being jaded to the point that if you don't want to be here, don't be here, because my attention needs to go to these people over here.
And you're not saying that as like, you're just like got to the point where you're like, "I don't care anymore. My business is how
we
it is."
care.
We care
Yes.
very much. But like I was saying, there is some people that it doesn't matter.
No.
They're gonna come in and your lights aren't bright enough.
Yeah.
Your toilet paper isn't
Right.
soft
And it
enough.
happens. Yeah,
It's whatever, man.
And
they're looking for something. to be
As a
upset
new
about.
business owner, you feel like you have to please them. And I'm telling you, as a veteran business owner, that watch how far you go. Don't be rude. Do the best you can. But I teach my kids that work there, that grow, all we can do is all we can do. We can do the best we can and go. So, and everyone else is watching you. So if I bring you out a burger and you say, "This burger is horrible, I hate this burger," I'm going to offer you a new burger. If you say you don't want a newer burger, I'm going to offer you money back. If you're not happy after that,
The day
Move
I was
on.
in there eating,
is that scenario?
I remember you were talking to some customers and you said, "We have what you're like." We have a
special?
It was a guarantee.
Yeah, if you don't like it, I'll eat it for you.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and
Yes.
and ironically, I've eaten some food. So, but yeah, she's like, "These fries are too salty." I just try the fries. Like, yeah. So, but anyway, yes,
You also got to be able to be acceptable to criticism.
Oh, for sure.
Like to the point where if someone tells you, "Hey, there's these suck,"
Yeah.
you have to be willing to be like, "Do they suck?"
Right.
Or are they just
You'll see
being
me
a little
doing
too
laps. I'm checking the trash can because it's not the noisy wheels that are the ones I'm worried about right now. So you'll see me multiple times a day walking around to my trash cans, and I'm not just pushing them down. I'm seeing what people are throwing away without saying a word. So if I look in that trash can and I see a bunch of bacon cheeseburgers,
Yeah.
there's probably something wrong with the bacon cheeseburger.
That's a good idea.
And so I'm always checking because it's not, like I said, it's not the squeaky wheel I'm worried about. It'll start the fire. It'll start my curiosity, but I then go around and we just have to go off of the bulk stuff because a lot of people won't tell you because they're afraid they're going to hurt your feelings. I tell them all the time, if there's a problem, let me know. I have no problem fixing it, or even if you don't even want it fixed, let me know for the next person, and you have to be, like you said, you have to be. If you think
It's the ones that actually are too scared to say anything to you. Those are actually the ones that
you want to,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
And that's it. And once again, it's all about the stagnant water. If you think you're the best you're at right now, then you're right. That's the best you're ever going to be. That's it. So if I think Snowensville is at its prime, then I will never grow from this point. And I know that's not true. I know we're going to grow, and I know that we have stuff that we're fixing and changing and upgrading. And, I need more room, ironically enough. I got a bank and I still need more room. We're still in a situation, but yes, that's very important in any business that, don't let the naysayers bring you down, but also don't ignore them, listen to them. And that's a very hard act to balance, is, being polite and some people you just can't please. Like you said, do the best you can, because I tell my employees, because they try to protect their own personal pride. And I'll tell you a couple stories that I do every interview, just so I can be. We'll try it right here live.
Okay,
So name a place outside of your comfort zone, outside of Owensville, that you went to eat to where the server gave you bad service. Think of it in your head.
Ooh, and I know I've had it.
Okay.
I'm very forgiving.
Okay.
Of waitresses and waiters, though.
Okay. Has there ever been a time where they just gave you bad service?
I definitely know there has been.
Okay.
I would actually. It's been a long time since I've like got upset at a restaurant. Like,
Right.
I don't mind a 45-minute wait most of the time. Like, I try to prepare.
You'll have one where they didn't bring you your ranch, or they didn't bring you a drink, or something happened like that.
I remember an instance right now.
Okay. Now tell me the name of the restaurant.
It was Klein's in Rosebud.
There we go.
Everybody loves Klein's.
Yeah, there we go. That's fine. Okay. So, and that may be a little too local because you are from Rosebud and I said out of town, but we'll go with it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. They're closed.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
but what the moral of the story is, what I teach them is, I say, okay, was it a male or a female?
I want to say it was a female.
Okay, a female. Now, you could tell me Klein's. You can tell me it was a female. You could probably tell me what she did to give you bad service. Mm-hmm. Now, tell me the name of your server.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Okay. You could tell me the business. Mm-hmm. You could tell me what happened. You could tell me the negative.
Yeah.
I said, so when you're out there and you're giving them bad service, they're not saying Joe Blow's giving me bad service. They're saying Snowensville's giving me bad service.
Yep.
When you're out there, you're representing me.
Yeah.
They can tell you the place. They're going to tell you what they did
so
wrong.
True, right?
They're going to tell you. And I was like, so when you're out there talking to these people, you have to be talking to these people like I'm talking to these people. Because when they go home, they're either going to say, I got good service from Snowensville, or I got crappy service from Snowensville. They don't care about Steve at Snowensville.
You're so correct.
So I said, you're here for your check. I can pay you a check as long as we stay in business. We stay in business by you taking care of the customer. The customer's happy. The customer brings us money. I can pay you your check. So at the end of the day, I'm going to pay you well over minimum wage because we are striving to keep our customers happy. Mm-hmm. So when you're like, oh, I'm too nervous to speak out to a customer, they don't know who you are. They don't care. I can give you a name tag. They don't care. Snowensville can't be too nervous to speak to a customer. So you represent me.
I really like what you did,
what
you're doing there, because that's also a thing, the tipping thing. And I don't mind tipping. No. I don't mind tipping, and I'm a very gracious tipper.
I'm not big on it. I mean, I will tip, but I believe that is it's almost the same as Valentine's Day. So I believe that the company should pay their employees what their employees are worth, and it should not be determined by. Don't get me wrong. As a person getting tips, I'd rather get tips. 'Cause I'm going to get a lot more than what that company pays me. Mm-hmm. But you were going to bring up the fact that I encourage people not to leave tips, and if they do leave tips, it goes to a scholarship fund. With that being said, I can tell 90% of my customers, 100% of my customers, do not leave a tip, and 90% of them are still going to leave a tip because it's ingrained into us. And but yes, it does go to our scholarship fund. We'll be giving out $3,000 worth of scholarships this year.
Well, the way you're set up is you go in and you order and you pay in advance.
Yeah, just like any chicken place on earth,
or
KFC,
any restaurant,
churches.
or any type of like fast food.
The
style.
fast food style. That's our version.
You pay you order
from a menu.
McDonald's
right
McChicken and fries. You pay $5.
Yep.
They bring you your food. You move on with your life.
Just like
Yep. And so. And you guys do have the self-serve like drinks. You get your own drinks,
just like
which nobody
KFC, McDonald's, everything else.
Yep. But all your and I don't know why I like that so much.
Yeah. So we hybrided is what we did. So when I ran Domino's, the reason why I listened is because they put millions of dollars into research nationwide. They test market in areas and everything else, and then they hand you that. And that's the same situation here. Is that McDonald's, KFC, churches, Lee's, all of them put in all this information. There's a reason. If waitressing made them more money, tomorrow they'd all have waitresses. They'd all have servers in general. But they've already done the math. They've already done the research. So I've learned a long time ago, you don't have to be the biggest, but you have to pay attention to the biggest because there's knowledge that you can get from those people. And once again, that's what we did. So all these other diners are still into the waitresses and waiters and servers and everything else. That's not the future. That's not where the future is going. And so we wanted to be a hybrid where you have the environment of cleanliness. You don't have the environment of fast food, but you have all the best of fast food. So we keep nitpicking, or not nitpicking, we keep selectively picking the benefits of both worlds and bringing them together into one. So
Yeah, and I think it's working great.
yeah, I tell people, you get your own refills, you throw away your own plates, keep your own money, keep your own tips because it's yours. You know, if you want to pay them, they'll go to the scholarship fund, but they're making well over minimum wage.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Well, like me, I can understand if it's like a bar or restaurant and you're going to have a party come in and they're going to be sitting down, they're going to be ordering drinks.
Right.
And they're going to be getting these appetizers and they're getting like all
making
this
them
stuff.
run and
Yeah,
everything
back
else.
and
Yeah.
forth, back and forth.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was nice because that's a lot of times where, you know, maybe I go to a restaurant and I just, like at your place, I got a chicken salad. I might just want a chicken salad. Chicken salad doesn't cost that much, but I am
3,
a
4,
gracious
5.
tipper.
Yeah, see?
So I throw them $5.
50% of your chicken salad.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's what ends up being. I'm
Yeah.
like, gosh, damn, that's what
Yeah.
costs so much. But
Yep.
but at your place,
No. And they
it
don't.
does take a little pressure off.
Yeah, it does.
And
Well, it takes pressure off my workers too, because I learned in the server world, if you're not my table and you need something, I'm going to conveniently pass you up because that tip you're given isn't mine. So by telling my crew, none of you get the tips, now their mind isn't focused on me. Their mind is anyone who walks by you now in a Snowensville shirt will want to help you because there's no benefit to them other than the fact that they're doing what they're paid to do. And I've learned that a lot of servers, and I'm not throwing servers under the bus, they have their own tables to take care of, their own people to take care of. They can't branch off and be helping other tables and servers. And that's the same situation here is if I knew you were going to give me $10 to help you, and then the guy to my right here didn't get anything to help you, who's going to work harder for you?
Yeah.
So
I've even asked, like, you know, because maybe you're at a busy restaurant and your waitress or waiter hasn't came back, and you stop the nearest waitress going by, and I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, can I get a refill of my water? And they're like,
you feel it in the air.
well, no, they'll tell me.
I'll go get them for you.
I'll go get your waitress
Yeah,
for you.
I'm not
Let me
doing
go
it.
find who's your
Yeah,
waitress.
yep.
They ask those kind of things.
And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, so we wanted to eliminate that awkwardness while still keeping the friendly environment, and our people are fine with it. You know, our people, don't get me wrong, I would make a lot more money paying them $4 an hour and having them collect tips. Everyone's like, oh, I can't believe you don't tip. I can't believe you don't do tips. I would save a lot of money going from $13 and $14 an hour to $4, $5, $6. It'd be great. But at the end of the day, that's not the environment I wanted to create. So we wanted to keep taking the best from both worlds. And that's just one of the waitress story. It's one of the 3 stories I tell my employees when they start. So they kind of have a
You did a great example.
I mean, it hits home, right?
Perfect example. I didn't know where you were going with it. And then once you said it, I was like, oh yeah, you're right.
We'll do number 2 of the 3, and then we'll save the last one for later. Okay. So when I first walked into your home here, you had a dog. What's the name of your dog?
Colson.
Okay. So Colson's your dog. That's your baby, right? That's your dog. Okay. You come up to me and you say, Dan, and I'm gonna write, and on this paper in front of my worker, I'm gonna write down Colson. Okay. And then you say, Dan, I'm gonna go on vacation. I need you to watch Colson. I'm gonna give you $100 to watch Colson. Great. You come back. I'm napping, but I wake up. I say, okay, well, Colson did run out into the road, didn't get hit. It was close, didn't get hit. There is gum in his hair, but it was an accident. I stepped on him 2 or 3 times. Accident, though. All 3 times it was an accident. It did eat the chocolate on the table, but it's not dead. Give me my $100, and when do I get to watch Colson again? And your answer is...
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get to watch him again, buddy.
Okay, so your passion and love for your dog, Snowensville is my Colson.
Yeah.
So when you come to me and I say, I need you to watch my dog, I need you to take care of something I'm passionate about, the same way you'd want me to take care of your animal, and it gives them a link of, because so many people go to work and they're like, I'm just here for the check. I'm just here for the check. If I came up to you and said, I'm just going to watch your dog for the check and I'm going to do it half-ass and there's a chance your dog may die, but I don't really care because there's just another dog right down the street that pays me more money anyway.
Yep.
So they need to learn that I'm not a corporation. I'm not a franchise. The same way you care for your animals, I care for my business, and I need you to take care of my business like you'd want me to take care of your animals. After the 6th accident of me stepping on your dog, eventually you're going to say, you need to stop stepping on my dog.
Yeah.
But if I come back, it was just an accident. It was just an accident.
Yeah.
That's fine.
No, and you're 100% right, too.
The injury still happened. So,
yeah. And that's any industry out there. You know, you pay someone to put flooring in your house. You pay someone to do any type of construction. Yeah. You pay someone to cut your grass.
Do they treat it like theirs?
Yeah. If they don't do their job very nice, you're probably not going to give them a call back.
No, and that's
probably
it.
Not.
And to teach people that they don't make the link anymore because I'm not trying to bash anyone. Larger corporations say, we don't care. You're just a number. So you're going to come into work. We have enough money to where if we need 2 people, we're going to bring 3 people on. So that way we'll pay them. We don't care. That way, when you call in, you just don't want to come into work. We don't care. We're still covered because we want to make sure that we are fully staffed at all times and we have enough money just to throw at the wall that we will say it. So what you learn as an employee there growing up is I can call in whenever I want. I can do whatever I want. There's no self-worth. There's no pride. You're just a number getting a check for a multi-million-dollar corporation. And when you work in a small business, when you work in a mom and pop shop, you have to learn that we don't have the type of resources to treat you like you're nothing. You have to be on team from day one, or else you have to be representing the business like you are the business because they don't know your name, and you have to treat it as well as you want us to treat your animal because it is our animal. If a Walmart closes tomorrow, Walmart doesn't go out of business. If Snowensville closes tomorrow, there is no backup plan. There is no college. There is no...
Now, so... Are you like you yourself? Are you doing any type of investing to
No, we were all in. I purchased a building on Main Street that I live in, and the rent covers the mortgage.
Okay.
So that way.
Fantastic idea.
Yeah. Other than that, no.
And so you bought a building that the downstairs
is a business.
So you rent to the business.
And then upstairs has a tenant.
And then you live upstairs.
Well, upstairs has a tenant, and then I live upstairs, yeah.
Okay, so there's 2 apartments.
Yep.
So you could eventually even move somewhere else, rent that one out, and bring in a little bit more money too that way.
I'm not, I watch some of your other shows. I'm not into that. That's a rich person's headache game, and you all can run the numbers, but I don't like it because you all skip the parts where they leave rotted trash everywhere. And you skip the parts to where things fall apart. And that's fine if you have the money to pay people to go in, but let me rephrase.
I fix a lot of toilets.
You got it. So I'm going to rephrase this, though, because I'm going to catch myself going on a tangent that's wrong. So I'm going to fix my own tangent. My tangent was going to be it's a rich person's game because you have to be able to get the loans. You have to be able to pay people, everything else. But the real answer is it's not my passion. Therefore, I will continually make excuses to why I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. I have no passion to renting to people because I don't like people. And that's how that works. I can deal with people when they come in and fill their need. When you come into a restaurant to eat, it doesn't matter about who you're fighting with, who you're home life with, how you can't pay rent, whatever. When you come in there, it doesn't matter what your politics, your religion, whatever your preferences are. At the end of the day, you come in hungry, I supply something. Yeah. When you start renting, if you don't have a passion for that, the first time they're like, oh, I threw a baseball through the window. Oh, I stuck a fork in the light socket. Oh, every 2 days. Oh, I'm going to sue you. Oh, I'm not paying you rent. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a passion for that, then it's not worth it. And I do not have a passion for that. The only reason why my situation works is because I am living there. If you live next to your tenant, guess what? Your tenant's not going to act up too much because you live right there. I can make sure the trash goes out. You're going to get to know them. No, exactly right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and that's exactly how it works it works out great for me because I live there. So my situation works. Could I expand out? Sure, I could. But for what my passion
Don't foresee it any time.
Covers the mortgage. And
I still think that's a great like financial choice to make for living quarters.
Oh yeah. Get a duplex for sure. Or an apartment or
something where, you can rent one side and live in the other.
That's it.
And a lot of people that, because I've gotten into real estate, they come to me and ask me about it. Yeah. And I always tell these, like, anyone young, I'm like, get a freaking duplex.
Yeah,
Live in one side, rent the other. I'm like, if I could go back in time, I would have tried so hard to do that.
And it's on Main Street, so literally I'm 2 blocks away from my business.
Yeah.
So worst case scenario, if the old Betsy breaks down out there,
Yeah.
I can hoof it a couple of blocks.
Yeah. Run up and do it.
Everything I owned was within a 1 mile radius at a point in time between the shaved ice stand, the diner, and the apartments. So my rentals, I say rental so I can act fancy, but my rental times 1.5, but I still call it my rentals. So
Yeah,
my rentals
it
and
is.
my business and everything. So I wanted to stay on Main Street as much as possible, just because, almost like big city, small town we were talking earlier, the chance to expand is shrinking more and more, because as our town grows, as the Walmart grows and the strip malls and everything else, prices are going to continue to grow, but the heart will continue to stay the heart until it gets either suffocated out or whatever. And Main Street still has a fighting chance. There's still tons of businesses, and I'm that's where my eggs are. My eggs are in that basket. That's what we're going with. So
Yeah, you're doing a great job, man. The freaking bank looks amazing. Inside of there looks amazing.
Yeah, it works good.
Everything you do, social media. You're very active on social media, and that was something that I really want to talk about today.
Yeah.
Because I personally think it's really, really important.
Yes.
And that's why I reached out to you, because in the Owensville community.
Yeah.
But this is important in every community, and I watch all over, especially like in gyms and body shops, because I was a body man before I was in the fitness world, and I follow. I bet I follow 150 gyms on Facebook.
Don't let that fall to the wayside. For if someone is actually listening this far into the podcast, if you want to look for a trend of people who are successful at what they're doing, it is they have to get so infatuated with it that they can pull knowledge from every competitor, everyone around, the same way I did when I bought a shaved ice stand. Next thing you know, Facebook feed, everything was full of shaved ice stand, the knowledge, shaved ice knowledge. Had nothing to do with shaved ice. Yeah. Same thing there. Your gym or whatever you're passionate about, if you're into real estate, I guarantee you, if we pulled up your phone history to my phone history, you're going to have it all down. And don't get me wrong, I watched the realtors for a while too for the business aspect, but my passion wasn't into that. So I can't tell you the name of the guy. I can tell you the sales pitch of the guy, everything else, but I can't tell you the name of him. Whereas you could probably tell me the name of every famous YouTuber about real estate because your passion's there. And so, but if I told you to name me 10 chicken places in Missouri, we may have a situation.
Yeah, I couldn't name 2.
Moral of the story is when you find your passion, create it. He didn't start with a passion for real estate. He didn't start with a passion for gyms. He just told a story about how he was cutting grass to buy cars and everything else. But when you find your passion, it is your responsibility to light that fire. And if you're talking to someone and they say, oh, I don't really look into it, I just do what I do, their odds aren't good. Yeah. So like you said, 150, I'm the same way. Every local restaurant, I'm not stalking them to steal their ideas. I'm stalking them. I don't even know if stalking is the right word, but we do. How many times
following them?
How many times are you a fan? You're probably like a top fan of a page that you've never even been to the place.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have knowledge.
And I catch myself not only just following them, but also supporting them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Also supporting them. Like because I'm getting interested in it, and all of a sudden now I'm liking their posts. Yeah. And I especially like their posts if I'm like, that was a good post. And the fact of, I think that was a really great idea what you did.
Yeah.
The idea of whatever you did, if like you doing your videos and stuff.
Right.
I guarantee if I went to Snowensville's page, there's some videos that you did.
Yeah.
Because I think that's really important, and I probably liked it.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what I'm doing a lot of times.
Exactly.
A lot of times I was like, oh, yep, that deserves a like.
Yeah. But that's a thing to stoke. You can't just say I have passion unless you don't have proof for your passion. So that's just another thing that everyone's like, well, how are they doing this? You didn't know everything about the gyms. I didn't know everything. We just had to learn, and that's just how it worked. So keep that in mind too. That
what got you to the point where you got active on Facebook? Have you been active on it for a while?
From the day I bought the shaved ice stand. We started that
2011?
2011, yeah.
And you got active on it.
We created a page the day I bought it, I believe.
But I noticed you making videos of yourself.
Oh,
Where did that start?
That era. So we have a page called Snowensville Info, Be the First to Know. It's just a personal vlog of my own. type page. And it started there with videos of myself, and then it kind of leaked over to the, we had to put a face. So when I bought a shaved ice stand for 20 years. Okay. You probably went to it prior to me buying it. Do you remember the name of the shaved ice stand?
No clue.
See, 20 years. And people would call it the Shack, the shaved ice shack, the Shack. Let's go to the Shack. Let's go to the Shack. So there was nothing, it was blurred out. So it's called New Orleans style shaved ice. Just in case you were curious, for 20 years. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah. New Orleans style shaved ice. But people didn't know that. And there was no face to it. So people, I mean, the locals
I wonder how many people did know that.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, tons. Oh, tons. They just called it the Shack.
Yeah.
So I had to create a name, and I had to put a face to the name. So I had to start creating videos of saying, hey, this is the new deal. This is where we're at. And that's when we started putting personalization. Because back then, it wasn't about that. It was about just flashy stuff. And I wanted to get it more. If we were going to call this Snowensville tradition, we had to start somewhere. And that's just what we did. And we started creating videos and personalizing it. And yeah, I think it paid off.
The videos are the big thing. The videos with Dan in them, where people get to know who Dan is. They get to see in that video, because this is the difference between the video of Dan talking to his customers and putting them out there for everybody in the world to see. They get to know your face.
Yeah.
They get to know your voice. They get to really know you on a personal level.
Yeah.
Versus what 90% of businesses do, everybody starts a Facebook page.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo. Like, that's free. Like, it's not hard to make it.
Yeah, it kills me.
And all they do is they might take some pictures of their own, but a lot of them are just getting stuff offline.
Yeah, they're stealing pictures off Google.
Yeah, and they just share it, and with a little text.
It's not personal.
There's nothing personal about it. And now they're just all those is just another one. It's just another company, another company.
Right.
Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. I could make up 100 businesses and do them, and I could just pump them out there. But like, that's why my very first video for the fitness parlor, I made a video of myself.
I think I saw you rolled in on the chair.
Yeah. I went in, I had my for sale sign, stabbed it in the ground, brought my chair out, sat down, and I talked to everyone that would be in the area that would benefit from this, and I told them exactly what my passion was, and exactly what I wanted to do, and I wanted them to know who I was and what I was going for, and I want them to know, like, hey, I'm doing this for you guys, and I want you guys to know who I am, and I still try to do that.
See, you took a page out of my book. Oh, I'm sure I took a page out of someone's book, but yeah, it's the same.
Yeah. I think that's so important, and I actually got that from watching YouTubers.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how, like, it wasn't like there's a course. It wasn't like I watched a course. I was just watching YouTubers that I liked. And, I obviously like the really big ones because I really liked their passion and like just how hard they worked. Yeah. And I started to realize, I'm like, oh, this is what separates these people. Yes. And so that's why I'm like, I need to be doing this. If I want to be able to sell merch and pull people in and get people to know me, I need to be posting videos out there all the time.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And it's so saturated that if you don't, and that's another benefit of a small town is, here's a good question. It brings up a question. I just thought of it just now. Just tell me, can you have a successful business and not have a social media platform? Can you be generic like we're talking about and still survive? Is there still enough old school ways? And it's doing it now, but as the future goes on, where comes the point where you as a business can say, I have no social media?
I would say no. I would say no because of the fact, it's not because, it is because whoever is, this is from, like I said with the book. Yeah. The social media and getting connected with people is that extra drive. Yeah. It is that extra, it's what people are working extra hard on. And so now, right now there's businesses succeeding that have been in business for a long time that were prior to the internet and social media. Right. And so those people have developed a name and they have succeeded. But that's what we're talking about. In the future, there's no way. If you own a business, and even if it's been open for 20, 30 years, if another company comes in town and they start that exact same business and they're doing everything exactly like you're doing, give them 5, 10 years and give them a social media page that they're active on and watch them push you out of town.
This is going to, I mean, you hit a nail on the head. I'm going to ruffle some feathers, but I don't care. I'm not in the ice cream business anymore. So it's literally happening right now as we speak. If you look around at the restaurants. So I was a huge Central Dairy supporter. Central Dairy from the start. It was local. It was the local thing in Jeff City, Central Dairy. I bought a box truck from Canaan Pawn. Still had cash for gold on the side of it. I went to G&G Welding, welded a $200 generator to the back, fired the thing up, threw deep freezes in it, and drove it down the highway while it was running with deep freezes in it. And I would pick up my ice cream for Snowensville. Because at the time, Central Dairy and Highland were battling, and only one was in Snowensville, and there was no Central Dairy. So even when there wasn't Central Dairy in Owensville, Snowensville had it because I ghetto-phonics my way all the way to the point to we were there. But anyway, they've dominated the game. So then Prairie Farms comes in and says, I'm going to buy Highland and Central Dairy. You both can no longer fight. You're both on the same team. We're going to dominate this game. Now, Central Dairy's been around forever. You can go to anybody who's from Missouri knows where Central Dairy is in Jeff City and get an ice cream cone. Now,
I've never had it.
Oh, are you serious?
Swear on my life. Never had it.
Oh,
and I could not tell you how many people are like, that always say we need to, because we go to the lake every year, big car show, and everyone's like, we need to stop in there and get some ice cream.
You've never had it.
Never had it, man.
Goodness.
Never even when you had it.
Yeah. No, you need to swing by Snowtown because they're one of the last ones to still carry it. So Central Dairy has dominated the scene for 80 years, 50 years, whatever it is, a long time, and they've become stagnant in their situation. Now here comes Ice Cream Factory. They're the new trend. Ice cream is good, in my opinion? Not at all. Not even close. Is it? But it's unique. They're branding. So now, where it's just a Central Dairy logo, Ice Cream Factory comes in with these flashy flames and peach cobblers and all this stuff. And they start throwing so much junk in there, and they're just making it flashy in their shirts and their environment. And now, Central Dairy ignores it. Now there's a thorn in my side. Now they're growing. Now, even though their product isn't as good, they can argue it is because their sales have told you it is, because their advertising, their branding has told you it is. So you put two side by side. Ice Cream Factory is more expensive than Central Dairy. Ice Cream Factory is not as good as Central Dairy, but Ice Cream Factory is selling more than Central Dairy. So it went from just Simply Sweet in town carrying Ice Cream Factory to now Simply Sweet and First Street Eats is carrying Ice Cream Factory. To now, so you see them slowly growing, and I was the core that held Central Dairy down. We were the ones who moved their product because I took their product and put my branding on it to push it. Now they no longer have my branding. So Snowtown still learning. Remember, give them a couple months, but their last picture on Facebook was a cartoon drawn ice cream, just like loop bowl. So there was nothing that was like, hey, this is amazing. Hey, this is good. There's no price. There was no picture drawing you in. I had stuff like Mint Everest, giant mounds of mint with caramel over it and everything else. And I took Central Dairy and brought it to that level. But I'm sitting back and seeing Ice Cream Factory with their branding. We're talking about branding coming in, and they're advertising, and they're David and Goliath. They're slowly chipping away at a bunch of old people. Because once again, no offense, there's a bunch of old people at Central Dairy, and they're not hiring a marketing team. Yeah. They're not coming in strong. So we're seeing it firsthand here in Missouri that, and people are going to jump on here and be like, oh, Ice Cream Factory is so much better.
Yeah.
Matter of opinion.
It's an opinion.
It's an opinion, right. At the end of the day, though, it's not an opinion that Ice Cream Factory is out-branding the Goliath Central Dairy 10-1. So for anyone who says branding isn't a thing, branding, I believe, as long as Snowtown doesn't do a switchover, I really hope they don't. But there will come a point in time where Ice Cream Factory will be more dominant in Owensville than Central Dairy.
So where did they start out from?
A driver from Central Dairy.
Really?
Decided he was going to break off and...
That's got to feel good. That's got to feel real good. I just seen a picture the other day. Somebody had it, and I was like, "Ooh, that does look good." Like that was, they're doing a good job. Now, is there can you overload on it? You think? Because that's what I'm always worried about. I'm always worried about putting too much out there, where people get to the point where they're like, "I am sick and tired of seeing Ryan share stuff on the fitness parlor. I'm gonna unfollow it because it's too much."
I schedule mine one a day at about 7 a.m. That way, it can't be over. You can ignore one, no problem. You get 20.
One a day. One a day.
I try one a day. Yeah. Wow. So Sundays are my day off, so I try not to push food. So today I had a picture of me wearing the bow that we cut, the ribbon we cut, with a special on it. So on Sundays I try to push other people's events. And if we're slow on certain days, then I throw others because what's it going to do?
This is on the Snowensville page.
page. So if you look on there, usually once a day, there's going to be a post every day. And if you want to see it, great. If you don't, great. But the way the algorithm works on Facebook, if you have a 1 week special selling your brand and you don't post it till that week, you might as well throw away 4 of those days because there's going to be people 2 weeks later that see that. And what happens is after they see those outdated posts for a while, they start ignoring them because they just know they're going to miss it every time. So if you have a contest coming up, you better be 3 weeks out saying, hey, we got a contest coming up. And then once a week or every couple days, hey, just so you know. So, and you have to ingrain it in. I think a lot of these mom and pop shops are messing up because this whole special of the day stuff, I can't tell you how many times I've seen a breakfast burrito at Simply Sweet I wanted, and it was 3 days old because Facebook didn't show it to me. The algorithm didn't show it to me.
Just didn't pop up.
No.
Or maybe you're just not active on social media. And so, it's if you only post, because I really only post once a week, but you're right.
Every day.
If it's not every day and you're not on social media that much, you just hop on, hop back off.
It's gone.
Yeah. Who knows when you'll see it next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I try, and then certain things you can repeat. So don't, at the same time.
See, mine's trial and error. I'm like, do I do more? Do I do
right?
less?
Yeah.
Right. Like, so
I've been
try
through
to do
that.
some
I've done it
trial
where
and
it's 3
error
or 4 or 5, and then I did it once a week, once a month. And that my happy number is just once a day. I just post. But it's easier. Well, it may be easier for you too because we don't set anything up. So in other words, I'm owner operator. I'm in the kitchen. So when Rob says order up, I can literally pop pictures. So it's gonna sound it's gonna be a bragging point, but I'm gonna say it. Every picture I posted is a customer's food. It was not doctored. It was not, get this if I see a picture, I have stopped my employees and said, stay there so I can take a picture of a customer's food before they leave.
Sure.
Because in your environment, you're the same way. Every day you're in that gym, there's something. Walking down your hall, I saw a picture of an angled creatine shelf that I could make a beautiful picture of to the right out here. But that's the thing. This is going to sound tacky, but it's true. I emphasize the little details that I've worked hard to give to the community, whereas other people take them for granted. We're the only restaurant with nugget ice in this place. It's just ice. But to us, we had to buy the $3,800 machine. We had to bring it in and buy the soda fountain that's connected to it and everything else. So
that crushed ice is amazing.
right,
too.
and that's why we pushed it. So the same thing. You may have 20 different flavors of creatine. I would take a picture of every one of those flavors with a cool with the other creatine background behind it, and then I would schedule it not back to back to back, but every Tuesday. I can schedule it a month in advance. Every Tuesday is going to throw out a different creatine, and then fill the void in with everything else. And the same thing with us is I know that certain days you push certain products. Fridays and Saturdays are busy, so I'm not going to be pushing a special. I'm going to be pushing, hey, we have 5 different kinds of fries. Just so you know, since you're coming in anyway, Friday is fries, and then post pictures of fries, and same thing else. But it's nothing. Here's an ironic side note too. I will work hard, and I'm just getting into the videos. I will work hard on some of these videos, and they're tacky. Don't get me wrong, I know they're tacky. Nothing. I post a picture of me with a bow on my head. I don't know what it is. I haven't pulled it up today, but I guarantee you that the video I posted yesterday of the Owensville Monthly Car Cruise coming in, that literally made the car pictures jump to the beat of the music behind it and change colors and pictures for a full 12 seconds. It took me way too long to make. Didn't get nothing to a picture of me with a bow on my head. So at the end of the day, too, like you said, trial and error is you can work on something all day and it'd be a fail because people don't want the flashiness. They want the real. They want knowledge. So don't get me wrong, I still mix it in just to keep the mix good. But at the end of the day, I know that any video I post that's not me talking, my normal people that like it, but...
Hey, let me check these real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then, because we are 2 hours in now.
Are we really?
Yeah, we're 2 hours in, and I've had some requests to go a little longer. So you want to keep going? You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm good.
Go for another 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So there's something I want to make sure you do before you go.
I got one last employee thing too before we leave, but not now. Go ahead.
Okay, So I want to have everybody start signing. Everybody that comes on the podcast. I got all this real estate.
You missed your real estate people.
I know. I'll get them back.
Yeah,
I'll get them back. So I had Morgan and Chase from Kathleen's.
Yeah.
They'll be back because Morgan for sure, but they're part of my team. Like I have a team of people that I've developed.
Your support group.
Yeah, that they're the ones that I'm hoping that. I've been working with them for a long time, but I'm also hoping that they're going to help me take me to another level. Because I have some big goals, and I'm like, I need you guys on my team to help delegate some of this stuff that I don't want to have to worry about.
If you want to go to the next level, the real estate's how you go to the next level. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they know, they have the knowledge. Oh, yeah. That's just a whole different game.
So I want to make sure you sign it. But yeah, my banker didn't get to sign it. Stephanie Blasky, she didn't get to sign it either. She's going to. Yeah. I did a podcast. That was the most recent one I just shared.
Check it out,
And then I also had the whole Barely Covered band come on.
Yeah.
And that was amazing.
How did that work in this room?
Oh, dude, it was so crazy because it's tight, and I had I had to buy extra chairs just for Barely Covered because I knew they were coming on.
Most of them are skinny; they'll be all right.
Yeah, and what I did was I lined them up in a bench, and then they were like, "Well, we'll just kind of make it work."
We'll get it figured out.
Yeah, and it was so fun with them because like these guys show up in my house.
Yeah.
And they start pulling guitars,
of course,
and drums and all this stuff, and I'm like, holy cow, what am I getting myself into?
Yeah, right.
So, but it ended up being really fun, and when I had Kurt Driemeyer on with Off Road Armor, I was like, it finally came to me, I'm like, I would love to have all these guests come out and sign it, and then maybe one day if this podcast keeps going, I'll have this thing like full, like someone's tattooed the whole body. You got it. You know, but
bring one of
except
my
for on here,
Snowensville stickers to put up here.
Yeah, you can, or you just bring it by the gym sometime, and I'll be able to slap it up. If you'd rather do that, just sign your name, and then we'll slap the sticker above it.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, it'd be fancy. I keep looking at this Jefferson Bank, just trying to see how they got that advertisement on there. So.
Well, Stephanie works for Jefferson
I know,
Bank.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't bring my stuff. I'm not on my game.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. That's we can slap it up on there and have it on there all the time. Yep. Kurt actually brought me a T-shirt.
See, I was going to, and I didn't do it. But yeah.
Well, I'm like, when he was telling me to bring a shirt, I'm like, dude, you're my guest.
Right. Exactly.
I'm like, I should be giving you something. Right. And I do have a plan in the future. I've ordered some stuff, and I'm going to try to give them out to some guests and stuff like that.
Well,
and just
if we're still alive in a year, you can bring me back on and see if I got out of the hole. So,
I would love to, I would love to always bring people back on and have them back on.
If not, we'll be some ghetto resale shop here in Owensville.
Yeah, starting over.
Yeah, starting over. No, it wouldn't be me. I'm not doing resale. But.
So this is a story I have, and I want to see if you remember it.
Okay.
And this is whenever you first opened Snowensville. Okay. And I was working on Main Street. I was at the body shop at the time.
Okay.
I was painting cars, and I had put a to-go order in.
Okay.
Do you guys still have a Western burger?
Barbecue burger, yeah.
The barbecue Western?
Yeah.
You call it? You just call it barbecue, not Western.
We
It's got an onion ring on it, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
That's my favorite burger of all time. Is the barbecue or Western? Yeah. Yep. So I had. Do you know where I'm going with this? Do you remember this at all?
No, go ahead.
So I put a to-go order in.
Yep.
And I remember you got 30 minutes on lunch. I call it in ahead of time, and then when I went to lunch, I ran up, grabbed it, came back, and I sat down. I was so hungry.
She forget the onion ring?
She forgot the bun.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know. I think it might have actually been you.
It may have been
cooking that day because I want to remember. I just remember opening it up.
Yep.
And there's
just no bun.
And it was nothing, because I was
priceless though.
Yeah, and I remember I called back and I said, hey, you guys forgot my bun.
I probably yelled at her while I was on the phone.
And then I thought I remember you saying, you're like, it was just so pretty at the time.
It probably did, yeah.
And it was you. I mean, it was a great burger.
Yeah.
I went and got a bun.
There we go.
You guys are a block away. I went and got a bun, ate it.
Yeah, I believe
and that was
sounds like something we would do. Yeah,
it was right when you first opened up on Main Street. Right when you first opened up, and I was like, I want to try this place out.
Getting a bun, that's impressive.
It was just I remember it just being like a funny story.
Yeah, for sure.
That I had from you guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've done some crazy stuff like that. So
there's another thing that I've been talking to some people about. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be for the Owensville area, but anyone could come. And I've talked to a few people about it. But like my 1 year anniversary for the gym is July 1st.
Okay.
And this past year, I always want to try to give back. Anybody that's supporting me, I want to give back to them.
For sure.
And so this past year, I did it off the cuff because the year went quick.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
and it was like a week before, and I was like, oh, I got to do something. And I was going to plan all this stuff out. Well, I ended up doing like a pull-up contest.
I saw it.
I gave $100 to
Yeah.
the man and the woman that did the most pull-ups.
Yeah.
And then I also gave out, like I just gave out a ton of free prizes, T-shirts, wrist wraps, supplements, things
whole
like
setup,
that. Basically, almost anybody that participated
Got something.
almost got something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was talking about it, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to maybe like make a bigger event out of it.
I'm not doing no pull-ups.
Huh? No. I just thought it'd be cool to do like a big event where, maybe like have it to where like Barely Covered comes out. It's when Barely Covered came and we talked about it, but maybe have like a band.
Yeah.
And I also know somebody that does a 5K every year. Maybe we could do a 5K from there.
Danielle does a lot of 5Ks.
Yes, so we have this 5K hosted, and then we have, say, like you come out, you sell your popcorn and lemonade,
Something like that, yeah.
and then I have like maybe like a local bar or something, maybe come out and get some drinks,
Right.
And I have like some IFBB pros come out, the Owensville car crews, have them come out, maybe they can all maybe have a burnout contest.
Oh, that'd be
I got
nice.
this
Yeah.
big ugly parking lot that
Hey, that's vital. That parking lot, it's ugly, but it's vital.
yeah.
Imagine if you had no parking lot.
Yeah. Oh,
That was
I
another
would've
reason
bought
for
it.
our move.
Yeah, I wouldn't have bought it.
Yeah,
if it
that's
didn't have a
huge.
parking
So that's
lot. Yeah.
important. So keep that in front. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just, I just thought maybe like make like it could be
Yeah.
cool to have like a big party.
Why not?
Yeah, like a day party. Everybody come out, get together, and just have an event in Owensville and just bring everybody together. I just thought that, to me, it sounds fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if the whole community would even like want it, but
It's hard at first. So, I mean, I'm working with Yesteryears right now on their, well, I'm not really working with them. I'm just supporting them with their flea market on Main Street and stuff. The town, just like every restaurant, they come big at first and then they dwindle. So it's having the perseverance to go through. If you do it just for your people or just for whatever and then invite the town, then you don't lose anything. So as long as the band's not hoping a million people show up, if you're happy with it, then that happiness spreads and then people continue to go. So whatever you do, whatever works great, be happy with what you have. And then, so I have no issues. Yeah, that'd be kind of neat just to get it going. I try to get as much fundraiser stuff as I can because everyone comes in and just, can I have money? Give me money. Can I have money?
Oh, yeah.
And I would rather do events, and I think that like local events would be cool, especially in your situation, because you have the equipment and you have the doors that open up and stuff like that. It would be nothing for you to bring out a bench and bring a couple of your big boys out there and then have people literally bet on who's going to do what numbers, and then the proceeds go towards whatever the cost is.
That's what we're thinking. Have another competition where people could win. Like maybe everybody pays $20 to enter the competition,
Right.
and then it goes in a pool. They all win it. Whoever wins it wins the pool. But come up with something that's equal for everybody.
Yeah.
Like the pull-up thing, that was a little tough. Pull-ups are hard.
Yeah.
Pull-ups are hard for anybody. The highest was 33,
Right.
and it doesn't sound like a lot until you get up there and you're like, "Whew, this is tough."
And that's
Very tough.
And I enjoy advertising. So, and it's going to sound tacky, but I'm going to say it. I'm not good at school stuff, so I didn't go to school for advertising. I'm not good with working for people, so I didn't go to school for advertising. But I enjoy the social media. I enjoy creating events. I enjoy that. So instead of working for somebody, I created a business to where I could think outside the box for myself. So when we get talking like this, my mind's already going to situations for your business at the same way as like I saw the pull-up thing. I don't do pull-ups. It didn't draw me. That was the only time I saw it. But then it drew me when I can't think of his name. He eats at my place. I hope they still eat at my place after I can't remember his name. The guy who got ripped. He went from nothing to ripped at your place. Drives a helicopter.
Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler. You got it, right? So if you remember how we're trying to fill pictures, when you do the next contest, if you find 2 or 3, you take your top 3 people and you kind of follow their journey, how they're doing months in advance, then that would draw me in. I don't give 2 craps about the pull-ups, but now you've told me a story about how Tyler came to be, how the last reigning champ came to be, how this came to be, because Tyler already made a post of, I'm not losing this again.
Yeah.
So my attention is now you can link your business to, if you take that information, now I'm going to be following your business because now it became it became a thing. So now you can then put stories and backstories, and that draws people in, and that gets everybody. So pull-ups, the word pull-up, fat people, doesn't
Yeah.
work. But if
Yeah.
I can follow somebody, if I can attach myself to somebody or something with a backstory, I think it'd be really cool. Because if there's anybody who has anything to do with fitness, they're at your business and they're working out. So
Yeah, honestly, that day there was no marketing behind that. There was no advertising behind
nothing,
that.
yeah.
That day was a day that I was looking for an excuse to give back to my customers.
Yeah, for sure.
I gave out Gatorades, Monsters, waters,
The whole
protein.
set.
I gave tons
Customer
of stuff away.
appreciation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want I wanted to give them something.
Yeah.
I wanted that. Like I cannot. Like all the support,
Yes.
all the people that like my stuff, the people that watch these podcasts, the people that come to my gym, the people that have just such kind words.
For sure.
I cannot express like
Oh,
my
my goodness.
gratitude
Yeah.
for them. And
Yes.
so I'm like, how about $100?
Right,
You got-
exactly.
like I'll give you guys
Something.
something.
Yeah.
So like when people are coming in second and third, I'm like, you can have wrap. I'll give you some
exactly
wraps. I'll
right.
give you
Yeah.
some supplements. Like,
Yeah.
And I just wanted to like just let them know like, and I did a video after it too. And I'm like, dude, guys, guys and
I
girls,
saw it,
I
yeah.
am so thankful for you guys, and I appreciate it so much. And I wanted this gym for myself as much as I wanted it for the community. And so the fact that like we are where we're at now,
You're passionate.
yeah,
And that's the catch. And that's the reason why I can sit over here and say, oh, I'm not into pull-ups because I'm not passionate. But your base, your people, your supporters, they are. They are passionate into that. And then and I wasn't trying to take away from that, but trying to show you that, or trying to express that the reason why Snowensville is what it is because we don't let the small details go unappreciated. So the same thing in your situation is, sure, I'm not going to get into pull-ups, but you creating the stories, you doing the research on the people, because your people are into exercise and fitness, stuff like that.
Yes.
And my people are into getting a meal with their family or whatever. So I emphasize on the Pepsi said, when we left the original diner and we're moving to the bank, I told Pepsi, I said, I want Sundrop because the town likes Sundrop. And I want other flavors. I want a 16 flavor dispenser like you get at the gas stations. And he looked at me and he didn't mean it to be a cut, but he said, you are not big enough for us to give that machine to. We're not going to give it to you. So I went out and bought my own machine. So I could have just done it, thrown it in and been done. But instead, I still to this day emphasize the amount of sodas, because to my customer base, when you are eating a burger, when you are eating your food, having the options, so I could have just let it go and people could have just figured it out. You lost it all.
that's one. Why did it? The computer's still on.
Yeah, we're still going.
Oh, we're still going. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, that's
I don't
good.
know what happened.
It's still not. Is it recording?
Yeah, no, it's still recording. Yeah.
It's bad when you put the computer to sleep. So it's bad.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
even a computer fell asleep on us.
Right. So, but yeah, the moral of the story is Snowensville are following our base is because our people see. Now, certain people are gonna say it's tacky. I got people all day long. They're like, "Oh, this guy's tacky. This guy is whatever."
Yeah.
And you're gonna have that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But that's not the customer base I'm going to. The ones who see the effort we put into it. The ones who see. Those are the ones who appreciate the meals more. The ones who are going to hate, they're going to hate. That's how there is to it. You're not going to impress. We're not going to impress.
Some people just hate just to hate.
That's it. You got it.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what business it is.
So, and the same thing here when we're talking about yours is, but at the same time, someone who's not a big gym person still follows your videos because we have a mutual respect for advertising videos. So you can cross boundaries without trying to convince somebody. 2 weeks ago, I couldn't solve a Rubik's Cube, and now I do Rubik's Cubes all the time. Why? Because something in my brain snapped that said it drives me nuts, the fact that I cannot solve something. So I jumped on and learned I'm not fast at it, but I can solve a Rubik's Cube without looking at anything because something happened in my brain, and I decided I want to solve a Rubik's Cube. So when you advertise to your customer base, something may snap one day in their brain and say, I'm going to start working out.
Yeah.
I'm going to start, and the same thing. So when I advertise every day, one of these days, mom comes home and says, I'm not cooking today. I'm going to go there because she got on her Facebook. saw that we had a special that was affordable to the family and went. Whereas if I didn't put the effort in, because I said, oh, well, that mom's never eaten in my place before, so therefore I'm not going to do it. Oh, well, those people don't come to my gym, so therefore I'm not going to educate them. Eventually something snaps. Why at 36 years old do I need to solve a Rubik's Cube?
Yeah.
It makes no sense, but it just ate at me that I couldn't do something, and I did it. So I don't know. That's just something to think about too. Is just
Sure. No, I think you're right.
the small details are important. And
Yeah.
I think that's a big Snowensville shirt. The day Danielle encouraged me the last goodbye, never work a corporate job again, a 9 to 5. I went home and I threw away all my shirts. To this day, I own no shirts. I went to my last funeral in a Snowensville shirt. So I own
You own nothing outside of a Snowensville shirt?
You will never catch me, mark my words, outside of a Snowensville shirt.
Holy cow.
And
That is some dedication.
On my 15-year anniversary, I'm going to have Snowensville tattooed here, so I'll probably be joining your gym, so that way it's not all saggy by that point. But on the 15-year anniversary, I'm going to have Snowensville. So when I take off my Snowensville jacket, there'll be a Snowensville shirt. When I take off my Snowensville shirt, there'll be Snowensville across my chest. So I have my 15-year.
Holy cow.
But that was me telling myself, when you were all in, you advertise for nobody else. You push them. If you're all in, you're all in, and you need every bit you can get. So yeah, if you ever see me in town outside of a Snowensville shirt, I've been kidnapped, and you probably need to call somebody.
It's an emergency.
Yeah, it's an emergency.
Call 911.
Because I do not own any shirt besides the Snowensville shirt.
Well, that's awesome. So, that is awesome. I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
Just because we did have a little technical issue, and I don't know what's going on, but I think it'd be just smarter to wrap it up.
Like I said.
And then we'll end it, but I want to have you sign this, and you're going to get me a sticker, and we're going to slap it up on there. And then
we're good.
Wherever, I'm hoping the podcast will go for who knows how long, and if I ever have to move for whatever reason, I can always take this with me. And I think that, or it would just be a moment.
When we move it to your gym, so we have it in the middle.
Yeah.
I want someone lifting weights behind me next time I'm talking.
Yeah.
So that way there's someone back there.
Well, that's exactly why I didn't do it, because I knew someone would be grunting in the background or slamming weights or something.
That's true.
I just didn't want the
this is
distraction.
cool. This place is really cool. So
thank you. And hey, I appreciate you coming on so much. It's I think it's been a great podcast. I think a lot of people, I like to really get to know people's backgrounds, and I think a lot of other people do too. This is going to be my longest podcast yet. But it looks like we didn't have any audio issues, which helps me on my editing a ton.
So skip past the gas station part.
No, I'm leaving it all. People tell me.
No, I'm telling the customer. Like, you can skip past the gas station part, and the key points you need to take away from this entire thing is nobody has to leave you anything. And you have to have passion for what you do research for what you do, and chase it, because the banks aren't going to believe in you. Nobody's going to believe in you until you give them a reason to believe in you. Mm-hmm. So,
and you're going to have to freaking work hard.
Oh my goodness, sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that's another key story too. If you have a family, restaurants are a gamble. I mean, if you have a family and you want to get into real estate rentals and stuff like that, that's good money. Not a lot of restaurants make it. So the reason why I'm able to make these risks, take that gamble, and work hard is because, I don't have a family. So keep that in mind also, that so many people I see like, oh, you two told me to sacrifice everything. It's like, you have 2 children. Yeah. You can't sacrifice everything. Those kids have to be able to go to school and eat. So use common sense too. And just make sure when you chase your dreams, you're all in.
Yeah. And anyone that's still listening, make sure you go follow them on Facebook.
Yeah, Snowensville. Oh, yeah. Here's a fun one. We live in Owensville, Missouri, and it's Snowensville because we put the snow in Owensville, Snowensville, Snowensville. People who live in Owensville their entire life still call us Snowville. I have no clue why. So if you can't remember what the name of our place is, just take the word Owensville, put an SN in front of it, Snowensville, an Owensville tradition.
And that's the best way to do it. No, you don't have a website, or do you have a website?
No, just find us on Facebook, keep it up to date from there. And
do you have an Instagram?
Yeah, don't know how to use it, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. So,
sure.
Yeah,
so
follow
Facebook,
us on Instagram.
Facebook's the best way.
I have Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all of it, and none of it works but Facebook. So you can follow all my crickets, but that's the future. So yeah, and if you're listening to this and you're into all that kind of stuff and you want to come work for me as my marketer for Instagram, Twitter, any of that stuff, I'm sure I will gladly bring you on board, and we can keep all that up to date also. So any future marketers out there, hit me up.
Looking to get started, you
hit me up.
You can do both.
You want to start small, work on your resume. Yeah, work on your resume a little bit. You can, and then you can show them that's the best part. So
part of the future.
You got it.
Cool.
Appreciate it, man.
Let's wrap it up then.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think